So much talk of Jack Gunston last year and what he's doing, but he's like a fine wine. I think their game style suits him perfectly. He's a guy that kind of gets around the back, and not the most overly, contested mark or contested kind of hybrid tall forward in the AFL, but just how they move the ball with real finesse really suits his game style. So I reckon Jack's probably on target for another 50, 55, 60 plus goal season. So and the Cats, I think Bailey Smith's doing a renegotiation of his deal, or
sounds that way.
Sounds that way. So probably well deserved. Pretty impressive what he did last year, coming I think runner up there in the Brownlow medal, fresh off an ACL as well. But he's a character of the game. Monday footy, going to be a good one to watch.
Yeah, it's going to be good fun. 0437 774 774 to ask a question of Cal or Berkey on this Easter Sunday. Text coming through saying you forgot Jack Darling is a premiership player, so another one there. Forgetting a player from WA yet again. So yes, our systematic
didn't play last week.
Jack Darling, our systematic ignorance of Western Australia, which is in complete bad faith, of course, strikes again there. So that's a classic off the text line. Has Carlton got an Alex Pearce? Speaking of doing everything for your team.
No.
Jacob Reedering's obviously...
He's still not an Alex Pearce. Jacob's a very good player, very good defender, but he's not an Alex Pearce. Yeah. I don't see Jacob diving across somebody's boot to win the game. He'll punch the ball out of play, but he won't dive across somebody's boot.
I think Jacob's probably a player that is crying out for some support for him down there. I think when it comes down there late in games, he probably needs just another senior figurehead in that kind of position next to him, just to sort of rally the troops, because it feels like the weight of the world is on Jacob Weathering's shoulders down there sometimes.
Yes, indeed. Grant from Waterloo says, happy Easter all, rare moment AFL on Sydney Digital Radio, usually on the ABC Listen app, so great to have you with us, Grant. Pete from Ballarat, I won't ignore that, Pete, but I reckon there's a podcast in your questions, but some praise coming through for Lauren Borden on the text line, which is nice, and we absolutely agree with. She does a great job. Our Loz, absolutely about that. So 0437 774 774. The Western Bulldogs and Essendon, of course. The other thing that happened in sport today, if you were with us about half an hour ago, you would have heard Clinchy refer to the NBL Game 5 of the Championship Series. The Sydney Kings getting the job done over the Adelaide 36ers. It went to overtime. Bryce Cotton had a chance to win it late in regulation. He missed the right-hand layup, similar to what he hit in Game 2, that would have handed Adelaide the most unlikely of championships. But it was the Kings and Kendrick Davis who prevailed. Here's how it played out on ABC Sport.
Looking to hand it off again to Davis, who knows it's done. Punches his chest in joy. He said he wanted to win something they couldn't vote on. Brian Goorjian is yet again an NBL champion. The Kings, they reign supreme. The NBL championship is Sydney's. They're crowned as champions once more. They've beaten the Adelaide 36ers in an epic Game 5, in a brilliant championship series. And 18,000 people in the west of Sydney stand to celebrate. Sydney 113, the Adelaide 36ers 101.
Apologies to our South Australian audience who might have just driven off the road. Bryce Cotton had 35, Kendrick Davis had 35. A spectacular performance from Kendrick Davis, had 35 and 14 again, and wins the Larry Sengstock Trophy as the best player in the final series after his teammate Matthew Dellavedova won it last year for Melbourne United in a losing effort. The Kings win their championship. Brian Goorjian, his 7th championship, cements himself as the greatest of all time, and that was a spectacular grand final series.
I went to high school with Larry Stenstock's son, Tate and Zach. Both very good.
You went to high school with Brian Goorjian there.
No,
geez, you're young, Cal. You're looking great.
Both very good musicians and artists, but I was a big Brian Goorjian fan. I used to be a member of the Victoria Titans back in the day.
Darren McDonald.
Jason Smith.
Yep.
Who else was there? Tony the Bear Ronaldson.
Who's the Orlando Magic coach? He played there for a little while, didn't he? Jamal Mosley?
Yes.
He at the Titans?
Yep, and there's a few others there. Darryl D. McDonald. Anyway, I digress.
Yep.
Anyway,
I went to school with Lindsay Gaze.
Yeah, you were a couple of years above him, weren't you?
Yeah.
It's stunning stuff. Stunning stuff from the Sydney Kings, so they win the NBL championship.
What was the story with Andrew Bogut doing the headphones thing? Can I go there? I actually don't know what was going on during.
Very Andrew Bogut. So he and Grant Kelly, who's the 36ers owner of Traded Barbs, and Bogut had been talking about Grant Kelly's weight, likening Peter Griffin from Family Guy and that kind of thing. So just the mature kind of Andrew Bogut stuff. Whether it was a distraction to take the heat off some of his players and that kind of thing, I'm not sure. There's always that psychology. He's an immensely smart. I've had the privilege of working with him a few times. He's an immensely smart dude. No matter what you think about him as a character and his views on the world, he's extremely smart, knows the game backwards, knows how to manipulate things. But yeah, maybe not the most edifying way for that to play out for Andrew Bogut. I'm not sure at different times either team covered themselves in glory in the way that championship series played out off the court and with some of the stuff going on around it. But gee, it was great theatre.
Yeah, mate, I really enjoy it. I saw Carlton did a little bit of a funny takeoff of that with one of their debutantes the other week. Anyway, found it curious.
Yep, so Sydney Kings NBL champions for 2026, and well-deserved it was as well. It's the Western Bulldogs and Essendon here at Docklands this evening. Both teams getting ready to run out there. Let's get the Western Bulldogs side of things. Lauren Borden's ventured downstairs to catch up with Ben Reid.
Thanks, Joel. I am downstairs with Western Bulldogs forward coach Ben Reid. Ben, it's pretty nice out here tonight, isn't it? The roof's open, beautiful Easter Sunday, bit of VFL on beforehand as well. It's a good day to be here.
It is, and great job for the boys before to get the job done now, which is nice. And the roof open, it's you don't see it too often, but it's a nice look.
Is it nice to have the VFL before the AFL? Like, do you just sit down and watch these guys play?
Yeah, it is. It's good to see how the guys go. They're obviously all trying to play in the later game, but there's some good performances today, and it's nice to sit down as a coaching group and watch it as well. So, it was a scrappy game, but good they got the win.
You've obviously just had the bye. Luke Beveridge got up to a bit of singing. What did you get up to during the bye?
Yeah, no singing for me. No, just family stuff for me, really. We didn't do too much at all. We just sort of hung around. It was only a couple of days, a bit of stuff around the house, but it was nice to refresh, but looking forward to get back into it tonight.
And obviously, you probably didn't need too much of a refresh after 3 games, but you head into it with 3 wins, a great away win against Adelaide. It must make it maybe a little bit nicer that you haven't got as much stress on your shoulders across that break.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think we needed the break at all. But in saying that, you take it, the boys can get their bodies right, but it's after a bye is always tough. You always hope you come out ready to go. We've trained really well, which has been pleasing. So hopefully they can carry on tonight.
And you're the forwards coach, so Oscar Baker, could you just talk to me a little bit about him after his heroics at the Adelaide Oval? He's been speaking about it a fair bit. What's he like as a character? He's been bringing it up to everyone.
Yeah, no, he's a ripper, Bakes. He had a fantastic game. I mean, he's been thrown around a little bit all over the place, Bakes, over the last couple of years, and for him to step up and perform the way he did a couple of weeks ago now was outstanding. And the goal he kicked, that was pretty special. But he certainly let the guys know about it. But we just expect him tonight to just get back to playing his role, which he's really concentrating on doing all week. So it'll be a good one for Bakes again tonight.
And can you talk to me a little bit about Buku Khamis as well? So obviously looked at a trade to Carlton over the off-season, didn't quite eventuate, and then he comes in and has a career-best season in the first 3 rounds. Yeah,
it's been great for Buku to see him flourish down there in the first couple of games. He reads the play really well. He's certainly part of that back six that are playing well together, and no doubt he'll be looking to put another good performance in tonight.
Aaron Norton kicked 7 in this fixture late last season. Sam Darcy with 6. They're an undermanned backline. We know the struggles that they've had. Do you think you see a little glint in their eyes that they might be able to get a bag tonight?
Oh, I think for those two, certainly it comes back to the process week to week. Against Adelaide, the Adelaide backs probably got on top, so they'll be looking to rebound tonight, definitely. We know Essendon have been down, but you've got to be aware of those teams when they're down. But I think they'll be looking at a pretty good performance tonight, but hopefully a whole forward 6 mentality more than those two.
Is there a danger in maybe starting too relaxed with your expectations of Essendon, but also coming off a bye, that it's been a little bit of a gap between playing?
I guess it's always there. You just think the players are professional enough to get the job done over the last 2 weeks of training. As I said before, we've trained really well, so I can't say we don't come out and perform tonight. But we know every week's hard in this competition. Nothing's ever a walkover, so we're really looking forward to testing ourselves against Essendon tonight, who no doubt are going to bring their best game tonight.
And Ben, I'm interested in this one, I guess, from a coaching perspective. So you're a natural backman. You're now taking care of the forwards. It's obviously a skill and a talent that you acquire when it comes to coaching. So can you just tell me a little bit about how you go and guide the forwards, I guess, and how you become capable of doing that?
Yeah, well, it's a good question. I got drafted as a forward and then finished my career as a forward. So sort of bookended my careers and obviously played most of it down back. But you learn to play on the good forwards. That's one part of it, and pass that experience on to other guys. But a lot of the stuff we do as a team is really system-based, and which it is at a lot of AFL clubs now. So I think naturally you just evolve as it goes, and you'll learn a lot over your playing career. So hopefully pass that knowledge on to these guys. But it's a good group of guys, and the coaching group will play forward as well, so we can bounce off ideas off each other.
Well, Ben, appreciate your time on ABC Sport. All the best for tonight's game.
Good on you. Thank you.
Thanks to Ben Reid. Thanks to Lauren Borden. We'll check in with the Essendon side of things very soon. There is a bit of team news here as well. Lockie McNeil, a late in for the Western Bulldogs. Ed Richards, the reigning best and fairest, the Charles Sutton medalist, is out with knee soreness, Berkey.
Yeah, he came out and did the pre-warm-up, one of the 5 warm-ups that they do these days, and did a couple of extra roll-throughs with the physio, just pulled up a little bit short. Looked to be moving okay, but obviously there's a little niggle there, and why would you take a chance in this type of game where they're almost guaranteed to win? So Lockie McNeil, who was also out there doing a warm-up, so it wasn't a case of, I've hurt something in the warm-up. It was a case of, hey, both go out there. If you're no good, Ed, come off.
I think if you're the Western Bulldogs, you'd be pretty comfortable just to sit him out this one. I think we can all say that we're pretty confident the Doggies are going to take this. And I think with Ed Richards and just the way he's playing his footy at the moment, I actually love the way he's been going about it, averaging 25 disposals per game. No risk at all. Stupid to play.
We did have the VFL here earlier on today, so Footscray and Essendon. It was Footscray, who the reigning premiers, of course, in the VFL, got the win there, 18-10, 118 to 10-11-71. Jack Billings kicked 5. Will Darcy kicked 3. Lockie McNeil had 6 disposals in the VFL today, so he's on the double-up duty, which we love to see. So Lockie McNeil will be out there for the Western Bulldogs very soon, and doing the double. Do you have to do both?
That's telling it as well. The fact that they didn't hold people back from the VFL just in case.
Adam Treloar didn't play in the VFL today, but he wasn't named as an emergency.
Yeah,
which was interesting.
Normally you would hold somebody back just in case somebody.
Quite unusual. They would. So they must have been pretty confident Ed Richards would actually get up for this game. Maybe 5 on the bench is probably going to help Lockie McNeil, but fair to say he won't be doing much on the track next week in the lead up to next game.
So opens the door for someone in that midfield for the Western Bulldogs to step in there. We know how much firepower they've got in there and how critical Ed Richards is to getting the footy moving in the right direction for them. One of the top-rated players in a game last year from a statistical sense. The Bulldogs and the Bombers not too far away. Joel Peterson, Lauren Borden with you on ABC Sport. Andrew Mays to join us on the boundary in a little while, as well as Nathan Burke and Cal Sinclair. Your experts, 0437 774 774. Here's the way you can get involved with us tonight. Just repeating that news. Ed Richards is out this evening for the Western Bulldogs. Lockie McNeil comes in. Essendon going unchanged. So Tom Edwards comes in for Nate Caddy, who's out with concussion. Josh Dolan and Artie Jones, as well as McNeil, the 3 ins for the Western Bulldogs. Gives us a chance to head downstairs and capture the Essendon side of things. Lauren caught up with Braden Fiorini a little while ago.
Thanks, Joel. I'm just on the boundary line with Essendon midfielder Braden Fiorini. Braden, thanks for your time pre-game. Happy Easter as well. How's the Easter weekend gone for you?
Yeah, thank you. Happy Easter to you as well. Easter weekend's been good. It's been busy at our house. I've got a little 3-year-old, so he's absolutely loving it. The Easter Bunny came this morning, which was awesome. But had a really good weekend. Thank you.
You were laid out last week against North Melbourne. How close did you get to playing with your back injury?
Yeah, we gave it right up until the bounce. As you said, the back issue there. Unfortunately missed out last week, and has been good for me. Just to have a down week and get my back right, and trending in the right direction, which is good.
How far off do you feel like you might be?
Oh, it's week by week. Hopefully back next week. And it's not too big of an issue, just a short-term one, which is really good. And the club's been really good with, taking all the cautions that they need. But hopefully back next week.
You come to a new club. Obviously, wins have been hard to get by or hard to come by. So how have you found the atmosphere around the Bombers and the hangar?
Yeah, the atmosphere's still been good. As you said, haven't had too many wins. Obviously, last year they had a tough year with the injuries, and the back end of the year wasn't too great. But the boys built a lot of resilience there last year, and they're just such a young and infectious group, and a lot of energy there. So, although we haven't started the year off well this year, we're still seeing some really good growth in the boys, and the energy's still up at the hangar.
Is there any advice that you can pass on? When you started at the Gold Coast, you're probably sitting in the bottom four for a lot of those first few years. So is there any advice, I guess, you can pass on to the team that, things can get better?
Yeah, definitely. We're a process-driven club at Essendon, and taking the result out of it. So similar to, as you said, my days at the Suns, early days, you can't get too hung up on the result every week. It's just as long as you're trying to get better every day, and you're trying to implement the game plan that we want and the habits that we want to, become a really strong finals team. So trust in the process and continue to try and get better every day and take the result out of it.
And I guess there is the chance, in a way, tonight of reaching that 16 consecutive losses, which is a club equaling record. Is it something that, I guess, players talk about, or you just try and put it to the back of your mind because you don't want any more pressure on your shoulders?
I don't think we haven't chatted about it too much, and Scotty hasn't chatted about it too much as the coach either. But as I touched on before, we're just trying to stay process-driven, and our first couple of weeks against Hawthorn and Port were pretty disappointing, and we weren't really happy with that. But last week, I feel like we bounced back in some areas that we wanted to get to work to, and built some momentum hopefully into this week, and a lovely night here at Marvel. So hopefully we can take that into this week.
Yeah, that's what I did want to ask. Is there something maybe a positive you can give to Essendon fans out there that maybe we're not seeing right now at the moment, but that's happening behind the scenes that you're ticking off?
Yeah, I think just I've been blown away since being in the club, just the day-to-day grind and the habits, and how professional all the younger boys. It feels like they've already got really good habits from a young age. So they're getting to work. They're putting in a lot of work behind closed doors, which, as you said, the fans might not see. But and the results aren't coming yet, but I don't think they're far away. So continue to stick with us. The boys are going really well and trying really hard behind closed doors. And I feel like we're just building, and we'll build as the year goes on for sure.
And just on yourself, how are you enjoying being back in Melbourne after spending about 10 years in the Gold Coast and finally being back in your home state?
Yeah, it's good to be back home, back amongst family, and my wife Molly and I love it here in Melbourne. So, and the club's been so welcoming, and feeling at home already. So, hopefully, I can get back out there on the field and help my brothers out there. So, yeah, looking forward to that.
What's your role tonight? Were you just sitting watching on, or do you have a little role to play with some of the boys?
No, I'll try stay out of their way as much as possible. I'll watch it up in the box there, and might give some feedback through the week if I see any. But looking for a good night and looking forward to watching the boys.
Braden, really appreciate you having a chat. Enjoy the night.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Braden Fiorini and Lauren Borden there on the boundary in the build-up to the Western Bulldogs and Essendon here on ABC Sports. Sunday footy on this Easter Sunday. The roof is open at Docklands. It is a beautiful, clear evening. Nathan Burke, Cal Sinclair, your experts to guide you through it this evening as both teams are out there again. Repeating that news, if you've just joined us, Ed Richards is a late out for this game. The reigning Bulldogs best and fairest, Lachie McNeil, comes into the team. No late change for Essendon, so Edwards in for Caddy, the only change they made. Jordan Ridley and Nick Bryan both got through their VFL game earlier today as well. So the Bombers 0-3, trying to turn the corner on their season. The Bulldogs 3-0. They dominated both of these games last year by 91 in round 10, by 93 in round 20. And as Cal said earlier, they have won 11 of 13 by an average of 57 points. And of those last 13 games between these two teams, none of them have been a single-figure margin. So we have not had a close game between these two teams for quite a while. It'll be a minor miracle if Essendon can pull that off tonight. But that's the thing about football. We just never know when we rock up to a game like this, which is part of the trepidation and the theatre that we all come here for, Cal.
No, yeah, I love the theatre of it, mate. And look, like I said, we're probably repeating myself here, but I really hope that's not the case, that we're going to have a blowout. It's going to be a tough call here on ABC Sport. But one of the real positives, actually, from Essendon last week was Lachlan Blackiston. He got a lot of kudos for particularly his centre bounce work. I reckon today is going to be a really, really good matchup for his development. Tim English has obviously been one of the best ruckmen in the competition, All-Australian, represented Western Australia in the most recent State of Origin game. But I think the way that he's playing, I think Tim English will be a really, really good matchup for him. So just keep an eye out on the centre bounce battle today. Both big jumpers, both got massive leaps. It'll be interesting to see how they attack one another. But if there's a positive there for some development of Lachlan Blackiston, I think Essendon fans should be very happy with what they saw last week.
What did you make of Jacob Farrow's game last week? First gamer for the Bombers, neat left footer out of WA. I mean, he got asked to do the kick in his first game, which is always an interesting responsibility to hand to a young kid like that. How did you assess his performance, Berkey?
Okay, it was a tough game to play in. It wasn't a classic game by any stretch, but you're always better after your first one. Nerves, everything else out of the way. Probably had to find 50 tickets for people to come and watch the game and all that sort of stuff. So now he knows what it's about. The good thing is it's on this ground again, so there's a little bit of familiarity out there. He knows it. He knows the night time, what it looks like. So yeah, let's see what he does today.
How do you approach this? But from a coaching perspective, when you're the unbackable favourites, like what do you think Luke Beveridge would be saying to his group to ensure that they, especially off a bye, as Loz mentioned to Ben earlier, they haven't played in 16 days or 17 days since they played in Adelaide over 2 weeks ago. How do you get them sort of ready and raring to go tonight?
You talk about the guys in the VFL who played in the game before this and did really, really well. And it's about the Western Bulldogs for them. It's about setting standards. And if you want to live up and uphold those standards week in, week out, well, you'll probably stay in the ones. But if you slip it all, well, there's blokes there ready and willing to take your place. Like Lachlan Manil, he's running around in the twos, gets his opportunity tonight. If he's going to stay in next week when probably Ed Richards comes back, well, he's going to have a blinder tonight. So it's all about setting standards and hoping that you've got players who sort of respond to that.
What about from a player's perspective? If you're in this Essendon squad, Cal, you can't be immune to the results side of things and the how much of a challenge this will be. So how would you be approaching it?
Well, you look at the maturity of the two groups. I was just going through the names on the Bulldogs leadership group. Bontempelli, probably put Darcy in there, Kennedy, Richards, all quite a mature bunch of guys. And you look at the leadership group of Essendon, I'd be looking at them and going, albeit I made the comment last week on the call that their leadership group probably needs some leaders above them. So you look to those guys and you say, guys, our group needs confidence. We are the second youngest list at the moment in the AFL. The last thing we need is the group rocking up on game day, just absolutely down in the dumps, nervous, worried about making a mistake. You just need to sit there and break it down into little moments. So you sit there and go, we're not going to worry about the result at 10:30 on Sunday night. We're just going to worry about the first 25 minutes of the first quarter. What do we want it to feel like coming in at quarter time? We're not going to sit there and come in and go, we're up by 3 or 4 goals. We want to come in and sit there and go, all right, we're competitive here. We've won the tackle count. Everyone's got around everyone. We've regrouped, after every piece of play just to check in with our teammates. But I think the one message is, what can I do to help the team and help my teammates? Because with an immature group, and I went through this as a player, it took me a real long time to sort of, to learn this, is that when things aren't going well, you just tend to just go into your silo and start worrying about yourself. Good teams don't do that. They go, I've got to get out of this funk. What can I do to actually help the team? That will be their challenge. Can they stay together as a team? It might not be the best result, but you just want them to walk off the ground with the fans going, you know what? They had a crack. That's all we can ask of them. Yeah.
Can I make a totally probably irrelevant point? The VFL game finished an hour and a half ago. Should have finished half an hour ago.
Yeah.
Yep.
These guys don't need to be warming up for an hour and a half. It's ridiculous.
I didn't say it last week, but I thought of this. Like, I'm sure there's a lot of smart people out there than me in sports science and things like that. But as a player who's not that far, from retired from the game, I counted. You do 4 warm-ups. It's mental. Like you literally, I used to come out in the ground and be absolutely exhausted. Then you get players that somehow love it, and I'm going, how can you like that? How can you like that? Like we would come out on the ground, you'd do your own when you rock up, you'd go out and do another one for about 20 minutes. You'd come back in, you'd do another one in the rooms. You come back out and you do another one.
And you don't do that at training.
No, you don't. You literally do probably
20-minute warm-up at training.
5-6 run
flat
throughs.
Out.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's ridiculous. I retired because of warm downs.
And but in all seriousness, I saw so many injuries of guys getting soft tissues in warm-ups, getting collisions with handball games and things like that. Anyway, I've made my point.
I like it. It's a good point. We can take that to AFL House. And
it was actually Berkey's point.
You can jump on.
Sorry, mate.
No, I like the way you're backing up.
Equitable.
Yeah, correct. Yeah,
exactly.
In yourself.
What can you do for the team? That's exactly right. Hey, let's check downstairs. The final member of our team. Say a very good evening and a happy Easter to Andrew Mays. G'day, Maisie.
Thanks very much, Joel. It is beautiful conditions down here. Picture perfect for football, and nice to see the city skyline back in action from ground level as the buildings peek over the roof here at Docklands Stadium. Both benches interesting tonight, a lot of energy around, but in particular the Bulldogs. Just having a look at Luke Beveridge, having a bit of an extra chat to his players before he went up and took his seat upstairs. So he's obviously not wanting any excuses tonight against what we expect to be a bit of a inferior Essendon side, but I'll keep an eye on the energy down here. And no statement made from the Essendon coaching staff this week, so it'll be interesting to see how they go.
They're unbackable favourites tonight, the Dogs. They take on the Bombers. Here's Lauren Borden on ABC Sport.
Easter Sunday on ABC Sport. Bontempelli paddled it away. Langford had a go at getting it from the Bombers. It ricochets back to Bontempelli, darts a kick inside 50. It'll bobble its way to the goal square. And it'll be cleaned up by Roberts, the Bombers. Back pocket, just dribbles a kick. It's not a great one towards Day Wicks as he runs onto it. And it'll be a throw-in, half forward for the Western Bulldogs. Quite literally unbackable favourites coming into this match. If you scroll on the AFL app, the odds are there and they are $1. $1 to Essendon at 19 in this match, which is something you so rarely see. As the ball is tossed back in and English taps it down. Kako goes in after it. Fraser wraps him up and we'll have another ball up. Right half forward for the Bulldogs. No score yet, first 50 seconds of this match.
Don's kicking to the northern end in this opening term. Left of your radio dial. Butterick off the back of the pack for the Western Bulldogs. Handball to English. Now Baker kicks the red, blue and white inside 50. Norton crashed the pack. Couldn't take it with him. West was there at ground level. Norton did end up with the footy. Handball to West. Now to Sanders around the body. Misses left and hit the behind post on the way through. Just clipped the padding. So out of bounds on the full as a result of the Riley Sanders kick. And Kyle Langford to take it for the Dons comes back across the goal face and finds Zach Reid.
Zach Reid sitting in the back pocket has had his own struggles with injury. Looking to get a run at it this season. Just chips it across to McGrath at centre half back as they switch back to the city side of Docklands Stadium. It's a kick that's close to the boundary line. It's bashed away. It'll just stay in play on the outer side of the ground. Dale picks it up. Hand pass to Fraser. He goes for a run, taps it under his arm and runs all the way inside 50. Dabs this one inside. And it's actually Merritt that sits down there and takes the mark. So it wasn't a good kick, just into some space. And it's Merritt that takes the kick and puts it out wide to centre wing. Picked up by Dersma, who can weave his way through a couple of players. Hand pass to Roberts, who's unsure of what to do, and then will kick it out to Blackiston. The kick goes over his head, and Lobb will be there to collect it. Blackiston catches him in a tackle, brings him to ground. Umpire says play on. West will take it. Hand passes it to Jakes, who can hand pass it across to Bramble, right in front of the interchange gates.
Beautiful weighted kick. Baker to Kennedy, and now Merritt knocked down the hand pass from Kennedy. Kako was there at half-back to provide support for Essendon. McGrath, defensive hand pass to Caldwell, picks it up on the bounce, shoots it back to his skipper. Lobb leading up to the football, can't take it. Baker off hands, it bobbles around, taken by Dersma. Handball to Blackiston, somehow got the handball on the up, back to Dersma. Handballed it back into traffic to Pryor, made him work for it. And then Pryor skids a low kick to half forward where Buku Karmas comes out to meet it. Lobb got his kick away. Diving across that was Edwards. Good smother from the man on return from that ACL injury. And it'll be tossed back in. And just looking at Rory Lobb's head, we know he doesn't mind the interesting hairstyles. He's got the green and purple hearts, which I think is for the Good Friday Foundation as well, Loz. So a nice little touch there from the big fella.
I like that. It was a record broken on Friday for the Good Friday appeal. Ball is tossed in. Kako this time digs it out. Hand passes it across to Daywicks, who curls the ball inside forward 50 for the Bombers. Just puts it into some space at the top of the 50. Edwards is there, can grab it, then slips over. He hand passes it away to Perkins, and the ball slips out of his hands. Edwards has another go, hand passes it away. Dale's there to pick up. Hand pass to Jakes, who then flicks it backwards towards Fraser. He can work it to Kennedy by hands, and he'll move it across to Butterick. Again, the string of hand passes from the Dogs until they kick it into the centre of the field, and it's dropped. Ball spills out. It'll be Essendon that'll recover it. Caldwell picks it up, hand passes it away. It's all a little slippery at the moment. Kako can take it. He's then taken to ground. And we'll have a ball up at half forward for Essendon. So a little clumsy there. No scores yet in the first 4 minutes of play in this Easter Sunday clash.
With this roof open, he's playing a little bit of havoc. We've seen some players fall over unexpectedly.
There's a change. Nathan Burke alongside Cal Sinclair, your experts on ABC Sport this evening. Dogs take it away from the stoppage. Williams to Norton, back to Sanders to Williams, loops the handball on over the top. Dolan kicks it to the pocket. Terrific defensive effort from Roberts, who sprawls out in front of English, belts the ball across the line. It'll be tossed back in.
And that's the exact desperation that Essendon are looking for, and it should be highlighted, particularly at quarter time. Very easy for Roberts just to sort of concede that with Tim English, who's probably a foot taller, but just didn't give up.
A great value pick-up, Archie Roberts, pick 54 in the draft a couple of years ago, runner-up in the best and fairest last year. Sanders at the stoppage, handball to Williams, snaps inside forward 50, finds the chest of Norton. He's been in red-hot form recently, has the big fella. He's marked this 30 out, tight angle left of centre.
I just wanted to make the comment, Berkey, like I know Essendon probably will get criticised on the call for how they move the ball, but when you've got pressure on you, you need your forwards to present. Both times, Peter Wright just calling for it out the back. He needs to come at the kicker because they're under pressure, but then they'll get criticised for actually having a bad disposal.
Kicked 7 last time they met Aaron Norton, and he misses that one away to the right-hand side. First score of the game's a minus score. It goes to the Dogs through 5 minutes.
Daywicks to bring it back in for Essendon, just chips it out to Pryor, who then clears it out of defensive 50 to a pack. The ball spills out the back. Selwood can pick it up for the Dogs and passes it back to Bramble. He's kicking the end. He's chopped off by Wright, who can hand pass it across to Perkins, and he'll kick inside 50 for the Bombers. Edwards is there if he can run onto it. He's in a tangle with Buku Karmas. He does win it for the Dons, and it'll become a stoppage inside 50 to hand pass going across to Johnson. He's tackled down. And Essendon will lock it in their forward 50 for as long as they can here. Kicking towards the Lockett end of Docklands in his opening term. Dersma runs in, takes the footy, and he's tackled to the turf by a couple of Dogs, and he was taken high.
It's funny how we assume the guy furthest away got it right and the one who was closest got it wrong. It's just
4 umpires on the field.
It's a weird anomaly, that one. So the guy who was 5 metres away said, no, that's not a free kick. But the one who was 50 metres away said, yes, it was, and we believe the one who was 50 metres away.
It'll be Dersma now who earns the free kick and will kick from about 45 metres out. Tougher than a 45-degree angle. Kicking towards the Western Bulldogs cheer squad. But for a strong start for the Bombers, he tries to curl this one from left to right and just misses to the near side. The Bombers get on the board with just a behind as well. Scores level, 1 point apiece, 6.5 minutes played in the opening term.
It really looked like it. With the set shot there, Xavier Dersma. Butterick marks the kick in, shoots it up the line to Baker, who marks in front of the interchange. The hero last week, 3 goals, including that late snap, 2 weeks ago, Adelaide Oval to seal the victory for the Dogs. Baker sends it high to half forward. Darcy reaching up, third grab, got it. 70 metres from home. The set-up kick. He's got Norton down there. He crashes the pack. Dolan does the roving. Hands it off to Bontempelli. All the time in the world for the champion. He makes a couple of metres of space look like miles. And Marcus Bontempelli kicks the first of the night. 1-1-7 the Dogs. Bombers 1 behind, 7.5 gone, opening term. Easter Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Cal Sinclair, Nathan Burke, your experts.
Well, he's averaging 27 possessions and 2.3 goals a game, so he's on the board early. But you can't just let a guy like that. He drifted into the forward line in the front and centre spot. There wasn't an Essendon play within 10 metres of him. How can somebody not see Bontempelli pushing inside 50 and not go with him?
And if you want to look at the comparison between Peter Wright and Sam Darcy, I watched Sam Darcy in that contest. It took 3 or 4 efforts for him to actually get into the best position there to take that grab. It wasn't through his height, it was through work rate.
Big leap from Blackiston to tap it down. Caldwell chasing after. He's got Bontempelli hot on his heels, but can get a hand pass out to Parrish. Inside 50, he goes for the Bombers. It's punched away by Perkins. Dale will pick up for the Doggies. He hand passes it back to O'Donnell, who'll clear the kick out of defence. It goes to centre wing, but it's Jacob Farrow in his second game who intercepts the footy for the Bombers. He'll be looking to send it back from where it came out on the city side wing of Docklands. Inside 50, he goes just over the top of Peter Wright. Karmas was at the back, and it's punched away and goes over the boundary line for a throw in about 45 metres inside of Essendon's attacking 50. The Dogs with that Bontempelli goal leading by 6 points.
Much improved defence early in this season for the Dogs. James O'Donnell, Buku Karmas been a big part of the reason behind that. English takes it decisively out of the ruck, throws it on his boot, bashes it up the outer side. Baker worked the positioning nicely in the marking contest, flicked the handball on over the top to Artie Jones, who steps inside, shows them a clean pair of heels, and now to Josh Dolan. He feigns, handballs inside the 50. Darcy drops it on his boot. He's made that work really nicely, Sam Darcy. Kick across the 50, lands in the lap of Bramble, who's 45 from home.
I don't want this to be a pile-on, but that was a ball up in Essendon's forward pocket. And Tim Darcy pushed Peter Wright out of the way, turns around and kicks the ball out onto the wing. They have their Blackiston playing a kick behind the play. When it's a scramble kick along the ground, he's useless. And then Artie Jones gets it, and now it's up the other end. But it doesn't happen if Peter Wright stands tall.
It was a scramble. It ends in a goal to Bramble for the Bulldogs. And they get 2 quick ones to open an early 2-goal gap. 2-1 to 1 behind through 10 minutes here on ABC Sport.
A couple of nice score involvements. The last 2 plays from Sam Darcy. The one contested mark he had here just in front of us, Berkey, and then just, I guess, the quick reaction time to put it on the boot. I'd like to think he knew that there was a player there representing, but just guy that height to be able to put it on the boot that quickly and sort of kick and execute with the finesse that he did. He's a star player and got a long, long future ahead of him. Yep, a long guy.
Yeah, so just to reiterate the point I made, Peter Wright does the ruck work in the forward line. Blackiston stays a kick behind as a big fella in between Darcy and Norton, these guys. But when it comes out quickly like it did, he's pretty much useless.
Pally taps it on the ground and bounces it to Kennedy in a good piece of work. Kennedy puts it inside 50. Norton again just brings it to the ground and creates a contest. Bontempelli has run to the top of the 50. Can hand pass to Artie Jones, who hand passes it across to Bramble. A little quick kick across to Bailey Williams. Can he curl this one through? That is a beautiful goal. From the stoppage in the middle, within about 30 seconds, Bontempelli played a remarkable part in that. A couple of touches to him. A quick goal for the Doggies. And they're out to an 18-point break, 11 minutes played, 3-1-19, the Western Bulldogs. The Bombers, 1 point.
You normally get the Harlem Globetrotter stuff towards the end of the game, not in the first quarter, and that's what it was. You've got blokes tapping the ball to others. Artie Jones could have turned around and ran in an open goal himself, but thought, no, I'll bring some teammates into it. We've got players catching the ball in the air and handballing mid-air, and Bailey Williams turning around, snapping one around the corner from 40 metres out. It's all too easy at the minute.
Not much around him either when he kicked that.
And Essendon buckle down in these early minutes. Well, the Bulldogs continue to ride roughshod. Frazier with the clearance this time. Handball on the up to Bontempelli. Collects and delivers inside the 50 to Darcy, who just threw Zach Reed aside as he led up to the ball. He's marked at 40 metres out, slide angle to the right.
Shouldn't go to ground, Reed, but I'll tell you what, you wouldn't be too happy as a defender if it's coming out of the centre bounce that quick, particularly when you've got Bontempelli on his right foot with the pace, and he's hitting the contest at the moment.
Sam Darcy with that trademark set start, finds the yellow, Sharon up with his right eye, trots in from 40 metres out, strikes it truly. It took a little while to get going. They felt each other out for 7 minutes. And 5 minutes after that, the Bulldogs have got 4 goals on the board. 4-1-25. The Bombers 1 behind, 13 played, opening term. And the Dogs are showcasing their talents early.
Now, after these sort of goals, if you're Essendon, you generally get together as your group. So Andrew McGrath, he's getting the defenders together to say, hey, what's going on? If I was him, I'd be going straight to that midfield and saying to the guys, you have to win the next contest, or if you lose it, it cannot come out as clean as it was Camp, because our defenders' backsides are out at the moment.
Got Merritt, Parrish and Durham in there. Should be good enough.
That's 4 in a row for the Dogs in quick succession as Blackiston can get a little tap away. Durham just soccers it forward. Blackiston goes back to grab it, hand pass it to Parrish, who hand passes it to Durham in some trouble. Can shrug off the tackle at Caddy. He's taken to the turf. Holding the footy. Umpire won't call play on. It'll be coming back. So they almost got the clearance, then got stuck as Bontempelli hand passes it to Butterick inside, deep into the left forward pocket. He'll go. Darcy can't take the mark. Spills out to Davidson. It was chopping the arms. It's a free kick.
But that's what happens as a defender when it's coming in so quick, Berkey. Like, you feel the pressure, and particularly with Sam Darcy, who's had a terrific start to this game, you're going, I've got to do something here, and you panic. But got to put it on this Essendon midfield to just get centre bounce under control.
So this one will be hard up against the boundary for Sam Darcy. 6 in this last meeting. What can he do with this one to start? Well, it's right across the face and out of bounds on the full. So no score there for Sam Darcy. And still the Dogs leading by 24 points, 14 minutes played in this first term. The long kick out comes from Langford, goes to Day Weeks, punched over the top by O'Donnell, who's come up the ground and pushes it over the boundary line to create a contest and a throw in. Half forward for the Western Bulldogs, kicked all 4 goals in this opening term. Was played just ticked over 15 minutes, Joel.
Just near the benches, Loz, there's 5 young blokes sitting in a row. 4 of them have got Bulldogs gear on, one's got Essendon gear on. In the first minute, Zach Merritt took a mark inside 50. The kid at the Essendon gear did a big fist pump. I reckon he might be pretty quiet for the rest of the night. There's every chance. Williams this time from the stoppage at right half forward sends an absolute skyscraper to Darcy, who pulls it out of the night sky at full forward. Reid was draped all over him and there was nothing he could do.
This is where the rest of the Essendon team have to go as soon as my bloke isn't dangerous. So the ball's not coming to my guy, I have to go and help my teammate. 100%. That's 3 times in a row. It's just been, I've got my guy covered. Well, good luck with you against Sam Darcy, because I'm not helping.
The roof's open, the stars are shining, and the Bulldogs star forward is shining as brightly as any of them. Darcy's got a pair, the last 2 in the game. And the Dogs are out by 5 kicks. 16 minutes played in the opening term. It's getting ugly early for Essendon. The Bulldogs 5-1, the Bombers 1 behind. Your experts, Australian Football Hall of Famer Nathan Burke, former Eagle, former Swan, Kel Sinclair on ABC Sport.
You are right, Burke. You're like, that ball was skied so high. There's enough there for someone to come over and help support Reid. Reid probably shouldn't get outmarked in that situation. Probably should bring it to ground at the very least. But in saying that, he does demand some support. Particularly in the air.
And Ben Mackay is running back with a flight of it. You know what? Give away a free kick. You're the tallest bloke down there. Don't sit and go front and centre. Give away a free kick, shirt front Darcy, and make him think about you coming next time.
So Kennedy takes the footy. Hand pass to Butterick. He's crushed down in a tackle by Day Weeks, and he wins the footy. A win for Essendon in the centre of the ground. Daywicks will flare it out wide to Merritt, who marks just between wing and half forward for the Bombers.
This should be at the top of the goal square. Why is it to Merritt? If Merritt runs up in the 5th row, they'll kick it to him.
So we nearly went short, and then he might do something similar to what you said, Berkey. He kicks it to a pack in the left forward pocket. It's off hands. It'll be out of bounds for a throw in deep inside. The Bombers attacking 50 to Andrew Mays on the boundary.
Wanted intensity from the Bombers. They're losing the disposal count 65 to 35, and they're getting out-tackled 8-2 in favour of the Dogs.
Thanks, Maisie. It's some worrying signs for the Bombers early. As in the ruck contest, Croft has front position, pushes it down. It'll spill out the back. It's picked up by May. He's taken in a tackle by Karmas. And the umpire will come in and throw the ball up again. So 25 metres out from Essendon's goal. We'll have another stoppage. It's already the Western Bulldogs with a 5-goal lead. We haven't ticked on to extra time in the first term.
To Maisie's point, I reckon we got 5 minutes of it from Essendon. And that was about it in this opening term. Ball bobbles around to full forward. Sanders puts his head over it for the Dogs. Hand pass almost found Durham. And then O'Donnell's dragged to the turf. And we'll have it tossed up 20 metres out from the Essendon goal. has not spent much time inside forward 50. Bulldogs with 11 inside 50s to just 5 for the Bombers. May reaches up in ruck for Essendon again. Nice work, sharp handball from Jakes to Sanders. A couple of their young guns combining, and Davidson loops it over the top now to Selwood. Some good defensive stuff there at half-back from Pryor. He intervened with the hand pass, and now the Bombers cut it into the middle. Merritt to Dersma. Dersma to Roberts. Standing start from the centre square. Kicks to full forward. May's outnumbered, but he pulls it in. That's the kind of effort and intensity that they need more of. Archie May had 2 to beat. He did just that. He's got a 20-metre set shot.
That was a good mark there from May. Just probably saw Lob sitting there in the space. Burton Karmas was just sort of probably going to, politely try and nudge him out that, give him a free kick. But he actually fought through it, the big fella, and took a good grab. So hopefully he gets a bit of a nice reward here for his work.
7 goals from 7 games last year. Archie May kicked it behind last week. Yet to kick a goal on this season. He stutters in and drives it through for the Bombers. And they get their first of the evening after a really nice bit of play from Archie May. 1-1-7 Essendon, 5-1-31 the Dogs. 19 minutes played opening term. Sunday night footy here at Docklands on ABC Sport.
Good effort there. You had big Rory Lobb standing in your leading lane, but you leapt at the footy over the big fellow. Good contested mark. Well done. But what I liked about Essendon was that they actually turned the ball over on the far side there by coming forward.
Yeah.
Western Bulldogs were trying to handball their way through, but they actually came, instead of retreating backwards, they came forward, turned the footy over, kept the ball in their front half, and had repeat entries inside 50 for the first time.
Back in the middle as well as English just pops it down. Caldwell takes it. Hand passes it away. Kennedy's there, wraps him up. He brings it in for a second time. The umpire will...
I think he was lucky there to get away with one. Caldwell, he dragged that one in, scooped those Easter eggs.
It's very good, Cal. As Parrish takes it, he clears it away. It'll get just inside 50 for the Bombers. It's a mark taken by Lobb. May at the back of him. And Lobb will be paid the mark, and he'll go back with the intercepting grab and chip it across to O'Donnell. Still in defensive 50 for the Western Bulldogs. Moves it across to West as they switch it to the dock side of Dockland Stadium with the roof open tonight. Chip to Davidson, who had time to dry his hands before the ball got to him. And takes a mark, and he'll go inside the centre of Docklands looking for Dolan. Good mark.
It's a risky kick.
It's Jakes rather who takes the mark, chips it across to Kennedy. A couple of uncontested grabs now for the Western Bulldogs as the chip comes towards Bontempelli. Marked at the very top of the 50 for the Western Bulldogs. Does he want to take a shot at this one? No. He'll choose to share it and move it off towards Artie Jones. Kick just goes over the top of Jones's head. Pryor goes chasing after it for the Bombers. Croft has a go at it. He can't take it. In the end, it's McNeil that'll snap from the boundary right across the face of goal. Another one from the Dogs, and it hits the right behind post out of bounds. On the full, it'll be an Essendon ball with Western Bulldogs leading by 24 points, 21 minutes played in this opening term on Easter Sunday.
A worry for the Bulldogs is they can get too unselfish. Bontempelli should have gone back and had a shot then.
Right at the top of the 50 did the Bond. Fair few goals so far this season. He kicked 8, already one tonight. English takes the intercept mark for the Bulldogs just in front of the interchange. Pops it on to West. So Riley West between the wing and right half forward for the Bulldogs to kick the first 5 of the game. Now Sanders it is who floats into mark. Into 2-year contract extension recently to keep him out of the clutches of the incoming Tassie Devils. He's at right half forward, 60 metres out. Sees Bontempelli charging up at the football, can't take the mark. Parrish on hands and knees for the Dons. Now to Dersma, to Farrow, who's still inside the defensive 50 in the left back pocket. Looking for an outlet. The Western Bulldogs lead by 24 points, 22 and a half gone in this opening term. Farrow kicks long up the line. English coming across to give the Bulldogs the numbers advantage. Spills to Perkins, now to Gresham. Caught on the boundary line, flips it up to Perkins again. Got walked across almost by English, kept it alive. Handball back in field, in front of halfway for Essendon. Good tackle. Caldwell wrapped up Sanders, not going anywhere. Ball up.
Good tackling intent, at least, from the Bombers in this first quarter. This ball will be tossed up with English and right to wrestle with each other. Palm down to Caldwell, flicks it back to Dersma, moves it across to Gresham, hand pass to McGrath. He nearly runs into his opponent in the end, gets the hand pass across to Parrish. He'll go inside 50 here, was looking for Edwards, came out of his grasp. It might fall for Guelphy. He'll take a snap from a tough angle, and this one's out of bounds on the full as well, or we'll have a little conference here, see if it snuck through for a behind.
What is the point in a conference here? What can we determine by having a conference here? We do not have the technology to ascertain whether the ball's gone over the behind.
Well, we're going
We've
upstairs.
got a conference, then a score review.
Thought it was good desperation there from Rory Lobb.
Josh Dolan, though, I think if you get a chance to nail a guy who doesn't know you're coming, I think you better nail him.
Looking at these angles, there's insufficient evidence to determine which side of the post the ball was to line.
What a shot.
Looking at these angles, no idea.
70 metres away that are focused on a bloke eating a pie in row F of the top tier of the stand.
There's insufficient intent, so it was behind.
This is the world we're in.
Waste of everyone's time.
I can go down the deeper path of where other things are going, but I'll keep my thoughts to myself.
Yeah, we might need that later in the game.
Yep.
Just keep your powder dry on that one, Cal. So 1-2-8 the Dons, 5-1-31 the Bombers, or the Dogs, I should say, and they transition it very quickly indeed. It ends up with Jones, a
great
right
kick.
half forward, turns around, and Sam Davidson will just watch that float over his head. As Artie Jones spins on a dime, unloads from 51 and guides it through off another lightning piece of transition from the Western Bulldogs. Their sixth of this opening term. They lead by 29 points. We haven't even reached the 25-minute mark.
I don't want to take away Arthur Jones's terrific goal, but what it did show is how connected they are with the Bulldogs with their entries inside 50 compared to Essendon. Sam Darcy and Davidson completely split the Essendon defence. Everyone got sucked at Darcy coming at the ball. To be honest, if they hit him up, it would have been a clean, uncontested mark inside 50. But Davidson's just cutting out the back. It opened up perfectly for us, Berkey. But
yeah, and I go back to the kick in, and I'll talk about it shortly.
Because English is going straight back inside 50 for the Western Bulldogs. It'll be punched out. Blackiston just tries to paddle it away to his advantage and almost to merits in the end. It's Dersma who picks it up. He's mobbed by Fraser, brings him to the turf.
Stiff.
And that's a free kick on the Western Bulldogs' way to Sanders. So Sanders was part of that tackling. It was a dual tackle, and it will be going back to Fraser, though. So he'll have the kick about 70 metres out from goal for the Western Bulldogs. We'll kick it to a hot spot.
Artie. Smallest bloke down there.
Under the night sky with the roof open at Docklands. Jones jumps high, takes the mark, and he'll have a set shot at goal from almost directly in front.
So he was the smallest bloke in that whole pack.
Seen some good marks this weekend, haven't we?
We talk about the unselfishness, though, Berkey, of the Bulldogs, and it's definitely true. Like, you just see, inside 50, the leading patterns of the forwards, they're all making one effort, getting back to help one another.
Back in the side this week to get his name on the scoreboard in a big way. He has got it. The goal and the mark from Artie Jones. And it's the Western Bulldogs' 7th goal of this opening term. 7-1-43, the Western Bulldogs. It's Essendon 1-2-8. Western Bulldogs ahead by 35 points, 26 minutes played in this opening term. It's Sunday night footy on ABC Sport.
I want to talk about the little things that are letting Essendon down. So they kicked it behind, and Western Bulldogs had a kick out. Marcus Bontempelli starts at centre-half back for the Bulldogs. There's a whole bunch of players on his right-hand side, so he leads out to the left. His opponent stands on the right-hand side and lets him lead out. You should be switched on and smart and go, right, if Bont wants to lead that way, there's a whole bunch of players. So I'm going to stand on the other side so he's got to lead past me. He gets the ball, goes straight down the other end. It's the little tiny things of which side of the play you stand on that kill Essendon.
Australian Football Hall of Famer Nathan Burke with you on ABC Sport. English bashed it forward from the restart. Sanders lays the tackle this time, and this time he will get the free kick. He wrapped up Caldwell. He loops the handball out wide to Budrick at half forward for the Dogs. Pokes it to the top of the 50, and Day Wicks pinches it off Joel Frazier. And the lefty sends it out wide to May. Stands in front of Karmas. Karmas got a late hand in to knock it free, but infringed in the process. And so May's got it in front of the wing. City side of the ground. Underneath the skyscrapers with the roof open at Docklands tonight. May kicks up toward half forward for the Bombers, just inside the arc. Daywicks is there to do the roving. Handball infield, pinched by Fraser again. And now they can go into ball control mode, the Dogs. O'Donnell chips it defensively to Dale. Remember, in the first matchup between these two teams last year, Bailey Dale had 49 touches. He's had 7 in the early going here. Bontempelli's got 10, the most of anyone out there at the moment, as the Dogs come up to Norton just behind halfway.
He plays on with a hand pass. It'll be a turnover here. Daywicks can take it. Hand passes it to Merritt. Puts it on his boot. It's a 1v2 inside forward 50. Wright was in the middle of them and Lobb was on the right. Intercepts the footy for the Dogs.
They're out.
Kicks it out to Williams, who's at centre wing. Broadcast side of the ground. He can kick to English. They're moving it along quickly here. Jones is there. It's the target that English was kicking to. McGrath pushed him in the back and Jones kept running all the way to the advertising hoardings and gets the free kick.
Just a bad kick there from Tim English. Like, Artie Jones, he's not a run and jumper despite the screaming that he took about a few minutes ago. But that was a perfect kick. You just had to lower your eyes and just finesse it, give him something to run onto. So he's very lucky that McGrath did a little bit of undisciplined act there and pushed him over the boundary line.
Kicked a goal a couple of minutes ago. Jones comes in from 45 metres out to bend this one towards the goals. He can't take it. It drops at the line. Davidson's there. He kicks it and it's a point. So just a behind for the Western Bulldogs. They don't have many. They're at 7-2-44, so they're making Essendon pay on the scoreboard. The Bombers 1-2-8.
Oh, dangerous kick in, picked off by Baker in the right forward pocket, hands it up to Bontempelli, and that's wildly unselfish. Oh, Fraser's dropped the mark. Bontempelli came 30 metres backwards to give it to him, and he dropped the mark. Worried out of it by Durham, and then gives away a free kick, sprawling back for it. The captain too unselfish again, Berkey.
Yeah, although Fraser's done a couple of things that have been a little bit sloppy when I spoke at the start about standards.
Maybe Bont just hasn't had the touch tonight, and the Bombers have rolled it up the other end. Kick up toward Langford along the ground. O'Donnell got the handball back to Lobb. He's tackled by Wright and Daywicks. And a stoppage inside forward 50 for Essendon. So chance for a late one here for the Bombers. They've only got one thus far. They trail by 6 kicks. Closing in on quarter time. Peter Wright will chase this out toward the boundary line. Hands it to Langford. His hand pass outside the forward 50, looking for Parrish. Pushed off it. Now back in Essendon hands. Langford and Daywicks force O'Donnell across. And we'll have a ball in just inside forward 50 for Essendon. Right forward pocket. 30 and a half gone first term. The Dogs 7-2 lead the Dons 1-2.
Beautiful night for footy at Docklands as English palms it down. It's Merritt, though, that can take it. Hand pass it to Langford. He'll try and pop this one right to the goal square. Lobb's got front position, punches it away. It's still in play. Butterick will take it. Hand pass to Bontempelli. Top of defensive. Goal square. His hand pass goes toward Dale. They're happy to rush it through. And it's just a rush behind for the Western Bulldogs. A little bit of trouble there. And they concede the behind. Bulldogs ahead by 35, late stages of the first.
Only 5 seconds left in the quarter, so even the Western Bulldogs probably can't go the length of the field in that amount of time. But it's been a busy start for the Dogs in this game. Kicked the first 5 after some early feeling out between these two teams. Essendon were able to answer back, but Artie Jones with a little burst and 2 goals late in the term hands the Western Bulldogs a 35-point advantage at the end of the opening term. 7-2-44 to Essendon 1-3-9. Earlier today, Melbourne too good for the Gold Coast by 20 points. And the second-placed Bulldogs doing it easily over the second-last-placed Essendon so far in this game. Goal kicks in the opening term. Sam Darcy kicked 2, a towering mark among those. Jones kicked 2 as well. A goal to Bontempelli, to Bramble, and also to Williams for the Bulldogs. Essendon's lone goal coming through Archie May after a nice contested mark inside forward 50 for the Bombers. The Bulldogs by 35 points at the end of one. This is Sunday Footy on ABC Sport.
Okay, ready?
Little listeners have a new space to get all their favourite podcasts.
Hooray!
Like exclusive new episodes of Bluey Listen Along.
Let's dance to celebrate!
Create a kids profile today by heading to the Kids tab on the ABC Listen app.
This is the 2026 AFL Premiership season with ABC Sport.
Baker sends it high to half forward. Darcy reaching up, third grab, got it. 70 metres from home. The set-up kick. He's got Norton down there. He crashes the pack. Dolan does the roving. Hands it off to Bontempelli. All the time in the world for the champion. Flick the handball on over the top to Artie Jones, who steps inside, shows them a clean pair of heels, and now to Josh Dolan. He feigns, handball's inside the 50. Darcy drops it on his boot. He's made that work really nicely, Sam Darcy. Kick across the 50, lands in the lap of Bramble, who's 45 from home. It was a scramble. It ends in a goal to Bramble for the Bulldogs. And they get two quick ones.
Bontempelli has run to the top of the 50, can hand pass to Artie Jones, who hand passes it across to Bramble. A little quick pick across to Bailey Williams. Can he curl this one through? That is a beautiful goal.
Bulldogs continue to ride roughshod. Frazier with the clearance this time. Handball on the up to Bontempelli. Collects and delivers inside the 50 to Darcy. Sam Darcy with that trademark set start from 40 metres out. Strikes it truly. It took a little while to get going. They felt each other out for 7 minutes. And 5 minutes after that, the Bulldogs have got 4 goals on the board. And they transition it very quickly indeed. It ends up with Jones at right half forward. Turns around and Sam Davidson will just watch that float over his head as Artie Jones spins on a dime, unloads from 51.
The AFL on ABC Sport.
On radio.
ABC Sport Digital Radio.
And ABC Listen.
All the Bulldogs in that opening term, a late change for them. No Ed Richards today. It hasn't worried them thus far. Marcus Bontempelli leading the way, 12 disposals and a goal. The Dogs up by 35 points at the end of the opening term. Joel Peterson and Lauren Borden calling the action for you on ABC Sport. Cal Sinclair, Nathan Burke, your experts, Andrew Mays on the boundary. A very happy Easter Sunday to you. Wherever you are listening to us here on ABC Sport, on ABC Local Radio, News Radio, Sport Digital, and of course the ABC Listen app, 0437 774 774. John from West Footscray says, I don't believe it that the roof is open tonight. John, unfortunately it's radio, so I don't know what I can do to convince you other than tell you that it is.
We can feel the breeze. It's genuinely creating some air, which is nice for fans.
Again, without a visual, John, we could just be having him on. I mean, we're not.
But that could be synthetic cricket back in the 30s, Joel. So
yeah, exactly right. We're just tapping the tapping the pencil on the desk here, John. By the way, so I don't know what we can do for you there, John, but I'm convinced that it is certainly open and that clear sky we can see. And Martin in Birdsville saying Artemis Jones up there with the moon too, which is a very nice bit of work as well from Martin. Great to have you with us. 0437 774 774. You can fire a question to Cal and Berkey throughout the course of the evening. It was a slowish start. Essendon came with some intensity. It was fumbly early. It didn't take long for the Bulldogs to find their groove though. Berkey?
No, the first 4, I reckon, inside 50s from the Bulldogs were really sloppy. Missed a few targets, trying to invent too much. When they kept it simple, geez, they look dangerous when they keep it simple. And you mentioned a couple of times, Cal, around their forward line with such potent targets down there, big fellows. I don't think Norton or Darcy have flown for the same ball yet. They just work it out really, really well. One comes up really high, one stays back. You've got Jones floating around in the middle doing his sort of thing. So it's really, really good. So I want to touch on a little bit the first couple of clearances or bounces. Sam Durran went and stood next to Bontempelli, and I thought, hey, this is fantastic. I want to see this, mate. This is the player you should aspire to become, a big body inside mid. But after those first 2 clearances, he didn't go near him. Bontempelli ended up with 12 possessions and a goal. Durham had 2. If I'm in that Essendon coach's box, and I haven't said to him a quarter time, mate, here's your bloke, stick with him, learn as much as you possibly can, try and beat him, whatever he does at stoppages, where he runs after the stoppages, and learn. If I haven't done that a quarter time, well then I don't deserve to be sitting in the box.
And he could have been probably 3 goals with Bontempelli with what he had on the scoreboard. But if you look at the every stat sheet, disposals, Bulldogs completely dominant, inside 50, 17 to 11 in favour of the Bulldogs. Clearances, 12-7. In that clearance area, 6-2 from centre clearances. Now, we've been a little bit harsh on the Essendon defenders, but I tell you what, it's coming out there with absolute pace and penetration. So if I was Brad Scott at quarter time, I'd be going straight to your midfield and go, guys, You're the engine room of this team. If you're going to lose it, go down with a fight.
30 marks for the Western Bulldogs as well.
Darcy Parish lining up next to Bontempelli.
Let's see if they can try and put the clamps on the great one as the second term starts. Kennedy's wrapped up in the middle of the ground, and it'll be a ball up.
This is big for Parish, a big statement to his team if he can just nullify him this quarter.
Sanders reaches over the top of Merritt at the resultant ball up, slaps it away. Bontempelli does get the hands free to West, to Fraser, drives the kick inside the forward 50, well read by Pryor, who peeled off and pulls the mark into his chest in the right back pocket for Essendon.
That's what Essendon defenders have to do. As soon as my man's not dangerous, I need to get over and help my teammates, and that's what Pryor did.
Back to the defensive goal square now for Reid. Roberts floats his kick out on the left boot to Farrow, who thought about keeping that movement continuing to the City side. He comes back defensively and inside the defensive 50 now. And Roberts just looks for an option and then kicks it back to Farrow, who's only 15 metres ahead of where he was initially. Handball over the top to Merritt. Down low for Day Wicks. Made it really difficult for the youngster, who was good beneath his feet to pick the footy up. And now they can try and chain something forward. Gresham for the Bombers. He flicks it on over the top. Langford to Merritt. Low left foot kick to half forward. Kicked it straight to the opposite number 7, and Rory Lobb takes the mark on the paint of the 50.
Merritt shouldn't even be calling for that ball to begin with, and he just literally clogged up his entire team.
Lobb kicked it to Karmas, who just chipped it forward to Bontempelli in a 15-metre kick, and then the Bont hand passes it back to Karmas. And then hand passes it out to McNeil. Little chip kick towards Bramble. He can't quite gather it. Spills out. And Pry's there to tackle him to the ground. Bramble goes in after it. Dersma comes in after him. The umpire's letting play go on until May dives on top of them all. And we'll have a ball up just in front of our broadcast position. The dockside wing. Bulldogs ahead by 35 points early in this second term. Bontempelli digs it out again. Hand passes it to Sanders. Spins around. He just gets a flick out as he's being tackled. Parish takes it. Hand pass to Day Wicks. He's taken in a tackle, and it will be holding the footy. Free kick going to Connor Butterick.
I think Day Wicks claimed it hit his boot, actually. I think it might have.
I think it did.
Yep, it looked like it did. It's a good tackle from Connor Butterick, who's been a really, really good bit of business for the Western Bulldogs, picking him up from the Suns in the last off-season. The Dogs come out to half-back now. Kennedy. O'Donnell arches the back. Handball to Bontempelli. Wanted the give and go, and then had to be turned defender in the end as the door opened for May. Spills back to Butterick, and they can start the chain again here, the Bulldogs. Lob to Kennedy, just pulled it in, going down low. A couple of former Giants combining in Bulldogs colours. Now to Selwood, made his debut in round 1 after being picked up in the mid-season draft last season. Michael Selwood, the West Australian, goes out wide to Bailey Williams, who missed the hand pass going past to Dale, and it goes out of play last touch.
Probably the third or fourth mid handball.
Yeah,
that quarter.
Bevo won't be happy with this.
Gresham goes to bounce the ball. It all goes wrong. Williams tackles him. And it's a Western Bulldogs ball. So just forward of half-back for Bailey Williams. Spins the footy around. And then he'll chip it to Butterick. He's run towards him, and Butterick will kick it back inside defensive 50 to O'Donnell, who then chips it out to Bontempelli. He's coming up for his 17th touch.
He'll have 50 today if they keep leaving him alone like this.
He might beat Bailey Dale's 49.
No one's gone near him. He's going to get it again here.
Chips it across to English, and that is exactly what English does. Bontempelli's gone from centre-half back to almost centre-half forward here and taken the mark off English.
Kako just let him run straight past him.
Bontempelli will thump this one on his boot. It'll go into the left forward pocket. Pryor was in there for the Bombers. Did just enough to get it over the boundary line. It'll be a stoppage inside forward 50 for the Western Bulldogs. They've got a 35-point lead on the Bombers, having kicked 7 goals to 1 in the opening term. It's about 4 minutes played in this second.
How much would you love to play footy like Bontempelli is?
How much would you love to do anything like Marcus Bontempelli plays footy? Marcin Darcy at the stoppage. He had Lackiston reach across his arm, and Darcy will get a free kick 30 metres out. Just better than a 45-degree angle to the left. He can shoot for his third.
Wouldn't you, as Brad Scott, be saying to your leaders, and I thought it was Parish that lined up on him in the centre bounce, and go, let's send a message to our team internally, and we're going to go to their best player, and Parish, you set the standard, set the scene about what it takes to actually nullify and take this guy out of the game for 30 minutes.
Darcy on the runway. He strikes the right-hand post. 7-3 plays 1-3. 6 goals is the margin once more.
I'm tipping a George Wardlaw would be saying, hey, Brad, can I pick him up? can I get Bontempelli and do a job there?
Roberts kicks it out to Pryor and then runs to his left to take the hand pass from him as well, as his kick isn't so good down the wing. Then Bramble's there to take it for the Western Bulldogs. Doesn't wait for any whistle or anything to get in his way. Takes a bounce, dabs it inside forward 50. Fraser collects on the volley. Hand pass is looking for McNeil. Still close to the boundary line. In the end, Parrish picks up. His hand pass comes out to Bramble. There's a whistle on play and it is an Essendon free kick.
Yeah, Oscar Baker, shocking decision. You've got Sam Darcy top of the square and you try and invent something.
So Andy McGrath to Archie Roberts, kicks towards Edwards, gets a couple of hands on it, can't take the mark. And then it's taken by Jakes, who hand passes it away to Butterick, and he wants to switch it into the centre of the ground, can kick it out towards Bramble, who's got an acre of space ahead of him, takes a bounce and then darts a kick to the top of the 50. Norton was on the lead, spilled the mark, there's a whistle and it's a free kick to Aaron Norton. So it'll be a Western Bulldogs shot at goal for perhaps a little shove from Pryor. Didn't look to be too much in it.
A bit stiff, didn't look like there was a lot in it.
That's what happens though when you're inexperienced defence and it just comes in with such penetration from the Bulldogs half backs, and just watched it on the visual replay then. Probably was there, but we probably have seen.
But in the end, he had front position, Norton, and he got the free kick. So from 52 metres out, he'll let loose and he will score. He makes the most of it. And it's Aaron Norton's first goal for tonight. Could that spark him to grab a bag for the Western Bulldogs? 8-3-51. It's Essendon. It's Western Bulldogs 8-3-51. It's Essendon 1-3-9. 42-point lead for the Western Bulldogs. They've led since the very start of the match. 6 minutes have been played in this second term. It's Sunday night footy on ABC Sport. Your experts Nathan Burke and Callum Mills.
It's a very nonchalant kick from 53, 54 there from Aaron Norton. I didn't realise he had that in him. With the roof open, Maisie, is there a bit of a wind going down that end?
I also didn't know Callum Mills was actually commentating today.
Not at all in terms of the wind, Berkey. It's fairly still down here, but it is a little dewy, but nothing that should affect the players.
Nice little drive-by from Kel Sinclair on the way through there as well. Maisie papering over the cracks beautifully down there. Ball inside forward 50 again from the stoppage for the Dogs. Attacking it there. Dolan couldn't take it with him, and the Bombers will repel from defence at least for now. Durham, hand pass to Caldwell, who burns off half-back, kicks down the line and finds the chest of Perkins in front of O'Donnell between the wing and right half forward. Archie Perkins, one of 3 Bombers taken in that first round of the 2020 draft. Kicks to centre half forward. Artie Jones rises in front of Blackerson. It spills to Sanders, and have a look at the Bulldogs line-up. Fraser cruises through the middle of the ground. Sanders just brushes past McGrath. Now to Baker. Pops it on over the top to Fraser. Well, he dropped the mark again, Joel Fraser. He's got a real case of the fumbles. He had all the time in the world to butter up, centre it inside 50. Looking for Jones. Pulled off it by Durham. Umpire said it was okay. Darcy with the handball to Norton. Now to Kennedy. Kennedy kept on running, and Kennedy kicks the goal. Any of about 12 of them could have ended up on the end of that for the Bulldogs. And Matt Kennedy kicks another for the Doggies that takes their lead out to 8 kicks, a new high watermark. 9-3-57 to Essendon 1-3-9, and this second term's got an eerily similar feeling to the first, where it took 7 minutes to get the first goal, and then the Bulldogs came with an almighty run. They've got 2 in a minute.
I'll start with Archie Perkins. Under 12s, you probably say to them, boys, do not kick it to centre half forward from the boundary line, because that's the turnover zone. If the other team get it, they'll go whoosh straight down the middle. I think anybody who plays football knows that. Why would Archie Perkins kick it to a contest at centre half forward from the boundary line?
They're going to go again here out of the middle. It's Bontempelli who shares it with Kennedy. And then Bontempelli gets it back. He'll go inside 50 again. Just pops it to the hot spot. Darcy comes through the top. Can't take the mark. It'll spill back out. Pryor desperately trying to grab it. He's taken by Dolan. Ball spills out. It's trying to Reed tries to pull it away. He can't. Norton's there to come and have a kick at the goal. It was hurried and it's offline, but geez, there's some worrying signs with how messy this match could get. The margin is already 49 points. And we've only played 9.5 minutes in the second term.
The weird thing is they're allowed to make a lot of mistakes, Bulldogs, and yet they can rectify themselves. It's
Bevo
bizarre.
won't be happy with this.
No, he'll
way
be
they're
fuming.
playing.
He'll be absolutely fuming.
Even the kick from Bontempelli inside the 50. If Sam Darcy's not there, Jackson Pryor probably picks that off. Just have the 207 centimetre Sam Darcy with the go-go gadget arms to reach across and knock it away. McGrath outside the defensive 50. Buku Kamas comes across and clatters that out of play. It'll be tossed back in.
He's been good, Buku Kamas, just really coming across today, helping out his teammates despite what the scoreboard is. You can just tell that he's really, really team-focused. He's come over the top a handful of times today.
A story in the last couple of days from Josh Gablich about his failed trade to Carlton in the off-season and all of what he's done to try and get his footy going in the right direction, which he's certainly done in recent times, has Buku. Here's Lockie Jakes, who earned his debut in round one, the Geelong West product.
At least Jai Caldwell stood next to Bontempelli and tried to do something at that stoppage. He gave away a free kick, but at least he was touching him.
Jakes to lob to the edge of the arc for the Bulldogs. Al Hawley stands in the hole and takes the mark for Essendon with Norton bearing down on him. 58 plays 9 in the early going here. Archer May with the only goal for the Dons so far. Kick finds Perkins, who's out at left half back.
He just chips it laterally to McGrath, so they've gained no territory with that kick. And they're going to go further backwards as McGrath shares it backwards with Mackay. Chips it out towards Pryor. And now they can use the dockside of the stadium as the kick comes out to Farrow. He waited for it as Bramble goes sliding into the advertising hoarding, but Farrow takes it. A little bounce as well. Chips it towards Langford. It's a good mark from Langford there. Just nudged Davidson off it with his knee and then was able to take it. His kick, though, goes over the top of Buku Kamas. It'll work for the Bombers as May holds on to the mark.
Buku was desperate to take front spot then, but in his desperation to get front spot, he just misjudged the flight of the ball and went over his head. But I like his attempt. I like his attacking defensive play.
Well, their system probably set up where he can take the front position. He probably had confidence that, Law was going to come in behind him and obviously take that space. Probably just unfortunately lost his footing.
So Archie May's the only goal kicker for the Bombers so far tonight. This one he eases towards goal and it's offline to the right-hand side. Just a minor score for Essendon. They move to 1-4-10. They've hit double figures. Western Bulldogs 9-4-58. 48 points. Western Bulldogs lead. Yes, Joel, we're celebrating the small wins tonight.
Mildly patronising, Loz, but, that's okay. It is one of those nights for the Bombers, that's for sure. Bontempelli to Butterick. Now they come with a rush again, this Western Bulldogs team off half-back. Fraser drives it to half-forward. West was there, outpointed McGrath. McGrath did well to worry him out of it. Now Johnson for the Dons. And pass to Pryor, shrugs the tackle, gets on the left boot. Sends it a long way up that city wing. O'Donnell comes crashing over the pack, as does Durham. They both got a fist in there. And then it's spilled away. Gresham lays a good tackle for Essendon and will have it tossed up. Joel Peterson, Lauren Borden calling it for you. Callum Sinclair, Nathan Burke, your experts on ABC Sport, Andrew Mays.
She calls me Nathan Buckley, I'm leaving.
He's a couple of boxes down, I think, Bucks. He walked past me in the corridor earlier. Budrick kicks inside forward 50. Mackay had it go through his hands, almost spilled out the back to Jones for the Dogs. And now it's taken by Pryor, who finds Johnson. You're always our favourite, Nathan B. Berkey, you know that.
Did you ever have a coach that couldn't get your name right, Berkey?
Yes.
I've got a great story about Dennis Pagan from an old teammate at half-time.
As soon as this gets the 70-point lead, you've got to tell it.
So Parrish hand passes it to McGrath. This is all in defensive 50 for Essendon. They're fumbling it around. Caldwell drops it. McGrath has to go back in to mop it up. He hand passes it to Pryor, who shoves it on his boot. It's probably the right decision to just get it as far away from goal as possible. The kick comes to right. He's maybe being held a little by Williams, and he earns a free kick. Chip out to Gresham. That was barely 15, and Gresham will go backwards again. He just chips it back to May, who brings it to McGrath, and they'll switch it across to the broadcast side. McGrath chips it out to Reid, right half back. He goes for a long kick down the wing. Dersma's in a little bit of space, can mark in front of the benches as he looks at what's ahead of him and then chooses to go behind anyway. So retreats back to Zach Reid. Got a couple of Bombers coming at him directly in front, and chips it across to Pryor. He's been one of the Bombers' better players tonight. Disposal number 11 coming up. Chips down. Caldwell gets front position. Ball spills to ground. Kennedy brings it to ground. And then Durham's there, does the tackling. On his knees, can take it. Hand pass it away to Parrish. And he'll kick this one with a centering ball. Alhui was there. And so was Daywicks. And it's Daywicks in the front position who marks for Essendon. It was a good kick. And it was good sight to mean that Daywicks will have a shot from directly in front of goal to kick Essendon second.
I agree with you, but I reckon Bevo wouldn't be happy with this. I don't think he'd be coming in at half-time going, I couldn't give a stuff what the scoreboard says, but the way we are playing at the moment, particularly with our disposal, is too cute, too pretty.
Even Kennedy was just too slow.
Yeah.
45 metres out, right in front of goal. He gives it everything he's got, and it's off to the right-hand side. So just behind for Daywicks. Essendon 1-5-11, Western Bulldogs 9-4-58. That's 47 points Western Bulldogs lead. Played 15 minutes in this second term. Sunday evening footy on ABC Sport.
It was good last week. Archie Daywicks, one of his better games in Essendon colours. Free kick to Bramble and 50 metres as he gets trotted up from half forward for the encroachment on the mark.
It was a player behind him was too close.
And now Bramble, he just continues his run. Drives it into the pocket. Jones up again. He's leaping tonight, Artie. He looks energised. Two already.
You learn in this game. Artie Jones has taken a mark from behind already because you didn't touch him. You just let him run and jump at it. So you think, right, that he's got that in his armoury. That's what he can do. He can run and jump from behind and take a mark. So next time, I'll put an arm across him and just put some touch on him so he can't do that again. And second quarter, he goes down. Half an hour later, does exactly the same thing again. Just stupid football.
Well, Pryor was actually trying to play a proactive sort of role on him.
Jones kicks the goal and fires up the crowd as well. 10 for the Bulldogs, 3 for Jones, 53 points the margin. He did his hamstring in the corresponding fixture early last year. Artie Jones missed much of the rest of the year. He's making amends and making good with the opportunity tonight. 53 points the margin, 17 played, second term. Here's Cal Sinclair on ABC Sport.
Well, Pryor was probably just trying to say before, he's probably trying to play a bit of a proactive role on Jones there, but not in his defence. He's probably thinking, all right, Sam Darcy's here, Aaron Norton's here. What the hell is Jones going to do? But the reality is, just watch the replay back now. Literally no one on him at all. Pryor being way too proactive.
Did not touch him.
He went up basketball style off 2 feet as well.
Literally just needed to hold him down. It was quite an unusual contest because generally in that situation, Jones should be in that front and centre. So maybe Pryor was caught off guard.
Yeah, it shouldn't be the second time.
No.
Fool me once, that old saying.
Well, they just showed Brad Scott's face on the screen, and yeah, he was less than impressed. You can't even repeat what he just said.
Better or worse than last week when they showed him? He had that look of complete disbelief on his face.
Well, he was moving. His lips were moving in this one.
That's a start.
Well, yeah. I don't think you want to be on the end of it. As Farrow has it at centre wing for the Bombers and just chips it forward towards Archie Robertson again. He's got nowhere to go. He doesn't know what to do with it. And so we'll chip it forward towards Langford, who now has it left half forward for Essendon. Long kick will come into a hot spot, hoping for a Bombers mark. It'll fall out the back. Dale wins first to the footy, wins it, puddles it away, and just as he's happy to rush it through, 4 are behind. Western Bulldogs leading out 52 points, 1-6-12 Essendon, playing Western Bulldogs 10-4-64.
Career high for Artie Jones as well, by the way, with his third goal. Started the year well in the VFL as well for Footscray. The reigning premiers, terrific tackle from Guelphy. That's what they brought him in the team for. Umpire says throw it in. Dale ran headlong into him, took him on. Guelphy tackled him over the boundary line.
Can you suspend umpires?
Essendon have been dudded twice. That 50-metre was stupid, and that should have been a free kick to them.
That is a
seriously
flat out, just a wrong call on that occasion.
They can get dropped, essentially.
Matt Guelphy's work there went completely unrewarded. Baker from the stoppage for the Bulldogs. Nice bit of roving there. Bramble away to West, to Dolan. Pops it over the top. Davidson back with the flight. He can't take the mark. Put it up at ground level. Knocked it on to Jones. Dolan kept on running. Josh Dolan around the body. Misses. Had the opportunity to kick his first of the season. Couldn't convert. For 53 points, that Bulldogs lead again.
Zach Reid with the footy for Essendon this time to bring it in from the kick-in. Just to chip out towards Durham, who moves it on towards Richards, kicks long down the wing, in comes Wright to crash the pack, brings it down. Dersma can't reap the rewards and pick it up, so Dale's there, picks it up, just a little chip to Fraser, who spins around at left half back and will chip it into the centre of Docklands, where he can find Selwood, hand pass to Karmas. They've got plenty of space here on the outer wing, a little chip towards Jones, he's been lively in the last few minutes, wheels around and will pop it inside forward 50, perfectly for Darcy. And Darcy leading into the forward pocket, plunks it, and he'll have another set shot from a tight angle. Another shot for the Western Bulldogs. They're already up by 53 points. And we've just ticked into extra time in this second term. Sam Darcy with a couple. Can he make it 3? Not quite. Through for a minor score to the near side. Margin out to 54 points, Western Bulldogs advantage. 21 minutes played in the second.
Bombers bring it back in. They work themselves into trouble pretty quickly. Johnson gets it out of there. High kick to the wing, broadcast side. Wright pulls it in on the third attempt. Nice work in the contest there for Peter Wright. And he goes defensively. They'll try and set up this switch again here, Essendon. They look okay when they've gone to this.
Well, get people out the other side if you're going to switch it.
It feels like their only method, and they just are not willing to work on the spread. So they have to be forced to come back to the dock side. Johnson's got absolutely nowhere to go. Cuts it in field to Merritt. Merritt hands it on to the overlap run of Roberts. Roberts with an aggressive kick up the middle. That's more like it. Edwards leads up. In line with the centre circles. Turns and looks for home. He's got no one to kick to in terms of tall timber. Guelphy and Al Hawley had to battle for it. Langford slaps it backward to Farrow. Left half forward. He retreats around Lobb. Then pokes it inside the forward 50. O'Donnell or Karmas. They raffled it and they gave away the free kick. And it's going to be Saad Al Hawley to take the free 40 metres out from the Bombers' goal.
Well, they got there eventually. Oh, that's a terrible decision. Al Hawley backed into his player and then fell forward. Look, he just backed into the back. Where is O'Donnell supposed to go?
Just a handful of undisciplined plays from the Western Bulldogs this quarter that would, alarm is the word, but it would frustrate Luke Beveridge in the box despite the scoreboard.
Kicked one last week, the speedster. Saad Al Hawley lines them up and misses to the left-hand side.
Had no momentum in his set shot then.
He's trotted in off a couple of steps and that margin back to 53. 23 minutes played, second term on ABC Sport.
Bailey Dale chips it to Sanders.
Bailey Daly. Like that name.
It's all happening today, isn't it? Not in a good way. Chips it out.
So the umpires aren't having a good quarter either. That was a shocking decision as well.
So moves it to Jakes, gets it to Davidson, who kicks backwards towards Dale, who then chips it out to Buku Karmas. And again, they've switched it to this broadcast side of the ground. A chip towards Bramble, just keeps it in. Goes for a little sprint over the boundary line, then halts. He marks right in front of our broadcast position. He's urging his teammates to come towards him as well, so Dale will lead at him and collect. Dale coming up to 13 disposals for the match.
Only the 13 loss compared to 49.
Is below.
If they take the switch here to Warri Lobb, they're completely outnumbered on the fat side. So I'm really curious as to why they're not taking this.
So Bramble has the footy, and Lobb was calling for it there, but in the end, Bramble will just go right down to a contest, and Zach Reid does well for the Bombers, does he? Juggled it about 14 times, and in the end, juggled it over the boundary line. And we'll have a throw-in at half-forward for the Western Bulldogs. They're ahead by 53 points.
It goes to the Essendon set-up, though. So they're very, very lucky they didn't take that switch. So, once again, just a disconnected defensive set-up from Essendon.
Rory Lobb didn't say anything, just looked over at Oscar Baker after the kick down the line.
Well, he saw it perfectly, didn't he?
Yep. Durham from the stoppage. Hand pass to Merritt. They get some forward run going here. Look at Archie Roberts' speed pass, except the hand pass from Parrish. Almost lost the bounce in the middle of the ground. Had to reel it back in. Now back to McGrath, hand pass to Parrish, picked off by Fraser, Dogs back the other way. Dolan plays tunnel ball with it, flicks it on to Bramble, now to West. Davidson's running out wide. West handball inside the forward 50. Davidson can't scoop it up the first time. Saad Al Hawley got back there to retreat in defence for the Bombers. He gives it straight back to Bramble, snaps as time expires in the term. and misses to the left-hand side. Another minor score. Gee, they could have really capitalised on some opportunities, the Bombers and the Dogs, in that term. Essendon go goalless for the quarter with 4 behinds. The Western Bulldogs kick 3 goals, 5 in the end, and they lead it by 54 points. 9 straight kicks at the end of the opening half. That quarter only going for 25 minutes, so a short one there with the 3 goals kicked. 10-7-67 the Bulldogs, 1-7-13 Essendon at half-time. Easter Sunday footy here on ABC Sport. Great to have you with us. 0437 774 774 if you want to join in the conversation throughout the course of the evening. We'd love to hear from you. Let us know your name and where you are listening from. 2 goals in that opening turn to Artie Jones for the Dogs, 2 to Sam Darcy thus far as well. Aaron Norton got on the board in that term, as did Matt Kennedy. Marcus Bontempelli's got one. Lockie Bramble's got one. Bailey Williams has a goal as well. Artie Jones, in fact, kicked his 3rd in that term, so a career high 3 goals for Artie Jones in this opening half. Essendon, Archer May has their only goal. He had a shot in the second quarter as well, couldn't take advantage. And so he's got the lone goal for the Bombers to half-time. 1-7, plays 10-7. The Dogs by 54 points at half-time. Cal Sinclair, Nathan Burke, your experts on ABC Sports. And despite the scoreboard, Cal, as you said throughout that term, it feels like the Bulldogs wouldn't be completely thrilled with the way they're playing at the moment.
No, just very, very cute. Like, they've had so many opportunities to just really extend this lead that they've already got by probably another 3 or 4 goals, but they just were missing handballs, probably taking an extra possession, particularly with their run and carry that they probably didn't have to take. But I must admit, and I felt this a little bit last week with the Bombers and when they were playing North Melbourne, that the Bombers' clumsiness and the way that they're sort of, I guess, their disconnect with the ball, with ball in hand, in a weird way, and it's hard to sort of articulate this, but it kind of permeates into the opposition in the way that they play. There's no sort of science and measure for that. It's just something that I'm picking up off the ground, is that kind of when they're poor, when Essendon, I guess, poor with their disposal and it hits the ground, it's somehow that kind of translates into the way that the Bulldogs play. But just looking at some team stats here, for me, once again, the clearance count really just says it all, with Western Bulldogs just completely and utterly dominating every facet of this. So clearances in total are 20-9, and centre clearances are 8-3. So I think the Bombers only won 1 centre clearance then, and Marcus Bontempelli was once again just able to just literally do what he wanted, particularly for the first half of that quarter. I wouldn't mind chatting to Berkey a little bit about this as well. How do you coach Essendon now going into sort of half-time? Because to me it does feel like there's so many areas on the ground that they're just sort of missing the mark. Even just helping your teammates in the air, spalling the ball out of bounds. Jones is taking taking speckies inside 50 in that first half. It just feels like there's a complete disconnect. One thing I was looking forward to was Darcy Parish seemed like he went to Marcus Bontempelli at the first centre bounce, and after that it felt like there was nothing. For me, they need their leadership to grow and develop, and by doing that, they need to send someone to their best player and say, this is the standard of how we're going to, I guess, compete for the rest of the season, but I guess in the short term, this half.
It's a coaching team effort. So all of those things that they're not doing in the back line, I'm not sure who the guy is, but there's a defensive coach who right now will have those defenders in a group and they'll be saying, we've been working on this, this and this, and we're not doing this and this, we're okay at this, this is what we need to focus on. And the forward line the same, and the midfield coach the same. Brad will come in with the overall, the way that we're moving the footy and the way that we're defending and those sorts of choices. But to me, it's the little tiny things in each of those areas that they're completely stuffing up, which is causing the whole thing to look bad. So whilst we look up Brad Scott and say, hey, Brad, you fix this, but prior letting Artie Jones run and jump uncontested at the ball twice, that's not Brad Scott. That's the backline coach. You're responsible for that. You've got 7 blokes in your team, basically, that you have to look after. Make sure they do the right thing. You pull your finger out and teach them what to do. So if I'm Brad Scott, I'm turning around looking at the defensive coach going, what the hell's going on? What are you doing with those blokes? Because, the senior guy, you get the big bucks, you get the money because everyone looks at you. But internally, those blokes have to lift their weight as well.
And I'd be looking the same in the midfield for me.
Yeah,
I'd be looking at Parrish and Merritt, probably the 2 most experienced players in that midfield, and go, all right, we are playing in a team that is nowhere near got the list of maturity of the Western Bulldogs. But what I can do is actually show my immature team, a team that's still developing, about how to actually sort of compete. But it just feels like those guys, I don't know how you're seeing it, Berkey, both of them are just sort of, I'm not pointing the finger, I'm just saying, just running around trying to pick up a stat. It doesn't feel like they're going in there and putting their body over the line for it.
Would you like to guess how many tackles they've laid between them?
Zip.
Yes.
0. Yeah. You can't be in the midfield. You accidentally run into someone and put your arms around them.
The Bulldogs have had 40 more touches.
Yeah, you accidentally tackle people if you are in the midfield. You have to try not to get a tackle. That's just my opinion anyway. Bontempelli's had 22. He's just floating around doing exactly what he wants. It's the best way you can absolutely play football, be a superstar and have no one go near you. Sit around the back half, just get as many as you possibly want, push forward every now and again. I'll kick a goal, happy days. Essendon, and look, I've played in sides that have done this. All of those Essendon players are running around out there, the midfielders going, if I get 20, I'll get a game next week. And the backline go, if I get 15 run off the backline, I'll get a game next week. Who gives a rat's clack if we win or not? That's what I'm looking at. And forwards are going, if I can kick 1 or 2, that'll be enough for me to get a game next week.
Does it get that dire? Mode. Does it actually get that dire?
Absolutely does. Yep. They are in individual survival mode.
It's self-preservation.
Yep. Individual survival mode. What do I need to do to get a game next week? And if I get, like they're getting, kicks backwards and sideways. So when somebody marks on the wing, 6 blokes run backwards to get the ball behind. And, yep, that's a stat. Doesn't really matter how, but at the end of the day, the coach will look at it and go, well, yeah, 18, 20, that's not too bad. He'll get a go next week. Because last week they were terrible. They were crap last week, but they didn't make any changes. So these blokes are knowing that, the way that I must have got a game must have been because I got 20 uncontested possessions, so I'm getting a game next week. That's the issue that Essendon have. And you can sit there and as a coach and say till the cows come home, I've got faith in them, I'm going to give them another go, give them another go. They're doing this.
That goes back to the point I was making, is that who do these, call them young guys, look up to see the actual standard? At the moment, they're going to have to look to opposition players and opposition clubs to see what the standard is, because if you've got Merritt and Parrish, who are your 2 most experienced players on the list, as you said, mate, not even laying a tackle, what do you expect these inexperienced kids to actually do when they're out there? I think their forward line needs a ton of work, but there's just, from a coaching perspective, Berkey, you brought it up really, really well. It's not necessarily on Brad Scott. It's how do you connect the pieces from midfield to transition it up to forward. Their defence is just completely all over the shop. But for me, I just look at the leaders and go, guys, I don't need you guys getting 25, 30 touches. I just need you laying a tackle. And I don't like bringing this one up, but I watched the first centre bounce of the first quarter, and I watched Zach Merritt. I think he was playing the sweeper position, or he ended up there. And I just watched the intent when the ball hit the ground between Marcus Bontempelli and Zach Merritt. Now, if you were, and I love Zach Merritt as a player, but I watched that intent, and I looked at just Marcus Bontempelli go as hard as he could at that football, and I just saw Essendon midfielders just sort of fade back and run slight on an angle, and I thought the first centre bounce of the game, you got Marcus Bontempelli, go at him, you know what I mean? And that's the best statement you can make. So just found it was a very interesting observation.
Just quickly, Sam Durham, he's a player that I rate. I reckon he can be a good midfielder. He's hard and tough. 1 kick, 4 handballs. So he's caught in between, am I the one who's going to go in there and throw my body around, or am I going to hang out like the rest of them? And he's caught in between, and he's doing nothing at the moment. So do one or the other. And for me, I would put myself on Bontempelli. or somebody else. Don't wait for the coach to do it.
A lot of work to do for the Bombers here at half-time. The thoughts of Nathan Burke and Cal Sinclair. 54 points is the Western Bulldogs lead. 10-7 to 1-7. Second half on the other side of the latest from ABC News.
ABC News with David Rowlands. A US official says the military had to blow up 2 transport planes during the mission to rescue an airman stranded in mountainous terrain in Iran. Larry Buttrose takes up the story.
The airman, a colonel, was the second crew member rescued following Iran shooting down of an F-15 fighter plane on Friday. Iran has claimed it shot down a US transport plane and 2 helicopters during the operation to rescue the second airman after downing an A-10 Warthog fighter aircraft during the first rescue. But a US regional intelligence officer briefed on the mission told the Associated Press news agency the military blew up 2 transport planes due to a technical malfunction, forcing it to bring in additional aircraft to complete the second rescue. The official spoke on condition of anonymity to discuss the covert mission.
Travel plans for some Australians this Easter have been impacted by soaring fuel costs amid the conflict in the Middle East. Attendees at a local Adelaide market today have told the ABC they've been more mindful about where they're spending their money this year. Hannah Tran was at the market and says her family was planning to go interstate but had to cancel.
We have a family in Sydney. We plan to go and see them like a couple times for the year. But now the kids had to stay here. Yes, of course they disappointed because they plan to see the family and spend time with us.
The Archbishop of Perth is urging Western Australians to never give up as part of his annual Easter message. Timothy Costello's comment follows an Easter Sunday service at St Mary's Cathedral in Perth earlier today. Archbishop Costello says despite terrible darkness from the ongoing war in the Middle East to cost of living pressures at home, the message for everyone remains the same.
We may not be able to do anything about stopping the wars in the Middle East. We may not be able to do much about, stopping the violence that seems to erupt on our streets, in our cities and towns. But if we commit ourselves to being people who are determined, people who love, we're not going to give up and we're going to keep trying, I think that's the key issue for all of us.
A Tasmania police commander says the officers who attended an incident this morning that ended in a man being shot have his full support over how they handled themselves. Police were called to a residence in Goodwood in Hobart's northern suburbs this morning to deal with an alleged trespass incident. However, a standoff ensued, with police alleging the man at the property claimed to have a gun and made threats towards the officers. He was shot in the chest after 2 officers discharged their weapons. Tasmania Police Southern District Commander Jason Elmer says that it was later found the man did not have a gun.
The officers involved and I have viewed the incident, and they have my full support for their actions this morning. These people, as I mentioned, they go to work every day not knowing what's ahead.
An investigation into the incident is underway. Astronauts on the Artemis 2 moon mission have described their joy at experiencing their otherworldly view as they push deeper into space. The spacecraft is now more than halfway to its destination as the crew travel around the far side of the moon and back. It's the first time since 1972 that humans have travelled outside of Earth's orbit. Commander Reid Wiseman says it's an amazing experience.
To see the moon, to see the Earth, and to know that we are between those 2 celestial bodies, and you can see it when you look out the window. The Earth is almost in full eclipse, the moon is almost in full daylight, and the only way you could get that view is to be halfway between the 2 entities. It is truly awe-inspiring up here.
Turning to sport, and the Newcastle Knights have rocketed into the NRL's top 4 with a 32-12 win over the Canberra Raiders at home. Brett Sprigg has this match report.
In front of a sold-out Easter Sunday crowd at Under Stadium, the Knights pulled off their first win at home to round 14 last year. It was thanks to 2 tries each to Dominic Young and Greg Marzu, capitalising on a 10-6 half-time scoreline and condemning last year's minor premiers to a 4th straight defeat. Earlier at Shark Park, Cronulla beat the New Zealand Warriors 36-22, despite a hat-trick to Warriors winger Dallin Watney-Lesniak.
Australian boxer Tim Tszyu has beaten Albania's Denis Nujo in a unanimous points decision in their WBO international middleweight title fight in Wollongong. All 3 judges scored the fight 100-88. Tszyu says he's ready to take on the former world champion Errol Spence Jr.
I feel like I'm up for it, man. I think me and Errol Spence going to be one hell of a fight, you know. It's a banger. You know how I am. I don't go take a backward step. So if he wants to meet me at the front, bring it on. You know what they say. Catch the big fish. Let's go fishing.
This is ABC News.
In the new issue of ABC Organic Gardener magazine, find the right fruit tree for your space, from tropical treats to backyard classics, plus alliums, keeping chooks safe and organic pest control. Available from newsagents and abcmagazines.com.au.
This is the 2026 AFL Premiership season with ABC Sport.
Well, he dropped the mark again, Joel Fraser. He's got a real case of the fumbles. He had all the time in the world to butter up, centre it inside 50, looking for Jones, pulled off it by Durham. Umpire said it was okay. Darcy with the handball to Norton, now to Kennedy. Kennedy kept on running, and Kennedy kicks the goal.
I reckon Bevo wouldn't be happy with this. I don't think he'd be coming in at half-time going, I couldn't give a stuff what the scoreboard says, but the way we are playing at the moment, particularly with our disposal, is too cute, too pretty.
Just continues his run, drives it into the pocket. Jones up again. He's leaping tonight, Artie. He looks energised. 2 already. Jones kicks the goal and fires up the crowd as well. 10 for the Bulldogs, 3 for Jones, 53 points the margin.
The AFL on ABC Sport.
On radio.
ABC Sport Digital Radio.
And ABC Listen.
They got it out by a further minor score in that opening term. Did the Western Bulldogs 10-7-67 to Essendon 1-7-13 at half-time. Sunday footy on ABC Sport on this Easter Sunday. Terrific to have you with us. John Peterson, Lauren Gordon calling the action for you. Andrew Mays is on the boundary. Cal Sinclair and Nathan Burke, your experts this evening. Earlier today, Melbourne too good for the Gold Coast Suns, 16-13, 109 to the Gold Coast, 14-5, 89. So the Demons in this early part of the season, 3-1 in 6th spot. An impressive start to the season for them. And the Western Bulldogs, the only undefeated team remaining in the competition. Sydney 3-1, the Gold Coast now 3-1, Freo 3-1, the Bulldogs 3-0 from their games so far. Tomorrow, of course, Hawthorn and Essendon from the MCG. So I'll bring that to you here on ABC Sport on your radio tomorrow afternoon. Other news in sport today, of course, in the NBL, we spoke about it a bit earlier. The Sydney Kings have won another championship. They took Game 5 in overtime against the Adelaide 36ers earlier today, 113-101. Kendrick Davis, the Larry Sengstock medalist, as the best player in that grand final series. In the National Rugby League today, as you heard from Brett Sprigg in the news, the Knights beat the Raiders 32-12. The Knights going really well to start this Rugby League and the NRL season. The Sharks 36 defeated the Warriors 22 as well in that competition today. So plenty of sport happening, of course. abc.net.au/sport. You can jump on the ABC News app as well and get the latest headlines too. So wherever you go, you can get all your sporting fix there. 0437774774 is the text line. Brett from Canberra says, hi team, completely agree with Berkey's comments. Reminds me of my son's junior footy days where the boys played selfish. Excellent insights. Thanks from Brett. As well, where Brett also said, what did Carlton not see? So a couple of questions saying, what did Carlton not see in Matt Kennedy that the Bulldogs have picked up on in getting him into their setup? Because he's been a really handy pickup for them over the last 18 months.
He was almost the recruit of the year last year. I thought he was outstanding. And, who knows? Because he can play so many roles for you. He can play big body inside mid. He can come off the half-back line. He's pretty adept at coming off the half-forward line and pushing up as an extra midfielder as well. So I'm not too sure.
Just shows when you go into a decent system and you've got a group that actually gives you confidence and believes in you. It's actually staggering. He's not at Carlton anymore, and the way they're going here, he could be in premiership contention.
When you can play to your strengths instead of having your weaknesses minimised as well. And another question as well from Joe in Benalla, which we might get to throughout the course of the game. How long till an AFL product takes on coaching an AFL team? Of course, Daisy Pearce is coaching the senior AFLW squad. Jess Delpos is another in the coaching pathway. I've had Lauren Arnell from our own team coach at AFLW level. So I'm sure we'll get someone come through the pathway at some point.
If Lauren Arnell was coaching that Essendon back line, she would have ripped their ears off at half-time.
Yep, absolutely. You wouldn't be mucking around under Loz.
No.
That is for sure.
She could do it.
Great to have her, absolutely. Great to have her back as part of our ABC Sport family this season. Second half underway. Dogs by 54. Here's Loz. Borden, that is. Not Lauren Arnell. I thought you were going to rip into Essendon at half-time, Loz.
There'd be a few people sitting out there in the stands over a beer that have probably done that, Joel, at half-time as we do restart this second half. And it's an inside 50 for the Bombers, though. And it's Edwards that'll mark. He passed off Langford.
We did speak a lot about the Bombers, but one thing that Bevo won't be happy with, they've actually had more turnovers than the Bombers. So 24 to 23. They've had a lot more possessions, but the turnovers would be worrying him. 12 in a half is too many for the skillful Bulldogs.
So Edwards will back himself from here on his return from an ACL injury. 52 metres out. He kicks all the way to the goal. And he puts this one through in his comeback. A good news story for the Bombers. Only played a couple of games and then was out for about 12 months and now puts through a long-range goal for Essendon, and that gives them something to smile about at the start of this second half. 2-7-19 Essendon. Western Bulldogs 10-7-67. Western Bulldogs lead. Just cut back to 48 points a minute played in the third.
What I like about Edwards, then there was a great finish from outside 50, but he recognised that the ball had gone out to the wing and started leading forward. So he was already on the move before the kicker got the ball. So that shows good forward craft and anticipation.
First goal in this second half to Tom Edwards and Essendon. As Loz said, it's a great story. Tim English just bashes it out of the restart, tries to gain some territory for the Doggies. Merritt got back there to provide defensive support for Essendon, shared the hand pass with Pryor, now to El Hooley, who drives the kick right up the middle. Durham extending back with the flight, couldn't take the mark. First back there at ground level. Although it was picked up in the end by Selwood of the Dogs. Now Day Wicks frees himself from the Jakes tackle. Handball back to Pryor. Standing start alongside the centre circles. Kicks to full forward. English coming across the pack. He's a little bit sore after he's pulled up there. Tim English as well. Jade Gresham picks it up. He rides the tackle. Snaps and kicks a great goal. Terrific start to this second half of the Bombers. 2 in 2 minutes. They narrow the gap to 42 points. 10-7-67 to 3-7-25. And that's a really nice finish from Jade Gresham.
That's what you need from Peter Wright. A 2v1 there, just to, I think we've been critical of him here, but just to bring it to ground, just make a real contest. And great finish there by Gresham. And it feels like they probably had a little bit of a fire up there at half time, because he absolutely gave it to the Western Bulldogs supporters there in the forward pocket. But I think that's Peter Wright's sort of journey needs to be this year, is just to compete and just bring it to ground. Don't expect you to take a mark every single time. If you do, that's a bonus, but just given the quality of entries from Essendon.
They're lining up to miss tackle there. 18 and 19 for the Bulldogs. Both missed a tackle.
A little bit of fight from the Bombers, but it's the Western Bulldogs out of the clearance. Bontempelli to Sanders. The kick will be a turnover. And it's El Hooley who marks for Essendon. Slows things down, centre wing. Darts this one out wide to Pryor, who marks it. Still a couple of kicks from home for the Bombers. 2 quick goals to start this third term. And then Pryor will kick it in to a hot spot where plenty of players will emerge. Edwards is there. In the end can gather, has a snap. His kick is smothered by O'Donnell. Goes chasing after it for the Dogs. Hand pass away to Dale. Just tries to clear it out of defence. And he can get it across to Bramble, who'll slow things down now at right half back for the Dogs.
Former Hawk, twice picked up as a supplementary signing in the pre-season when he originally got to Hawthorn and when he got to the Western Bulldogs. Lockie Bramble goes back to lob. Now they can send it out wide. Bailey Williams drives the kick to half forward. Fraser's there. 75 from home. Pops it on over the top to the run of Oscar Baker, who arches the back. Got the handball free. Budrick across the 50. Looking for and finding Bramble. Rose couldn't take the mark. Sanders there at ground level. Dolan. Jakes, 45 out, sizes it up, misses, left-hand side. First score of the second half for the Dogs, a minor, 10-8, plays 3-7, 4.5 gone in the third.
Got to do a bit better, Essendon, at actually stopping that switch. They're getting 2 or 3 opportunities to just take the entire width of the ground.
Zach Merritt with the kick in, tried to move it out to Reid, had to wait too long for the footy, and Williams can get a hand in it to intercept it and bring it over the boundary line to force a ball in just outside of their attacking 50. Kicking towards the Coventry end, the right-hand side of your radio dial during this third term. English and Blackiston in the ruck both get a hand to it and they just palm it out to exactly where the ball came in from. We'll have another throw in.
Competing well, Blackiston. Team English has done the big fist a handful of times out of the centre bounce, but he is holding his own.
They were even with hit-outs at half-time.
English with a little tap out. It's straight to Langford, though. Hand pass. Here's Durham, who can take it and then shove it on his left boot and try and get some distance down the wing. He can do that. It's lob in a battle with Wright. And Wright goes to ground. Selwood's in there as well for the Western Bulldogs. It gets socked forward. It'll work for Gresham here, who just wants to kick it inside forward 50 to Edwards. Had to backtrack a little, but he was only the only bomber inside forward 50. And he takes the mark in pretty much exactly the same position as where he just kicked a goal from.
I think Edwards there took that mark and he had a few options coming at him, but his confidence would be high with only moments ago slotting a great goal from exactly this position. And looking at the replay there, Gresham did have a good view of him. So
Edwards comes in the black boots. This one from 48 metres out. And the same result. A couple for Edwards. And the Bombers have 3 in this third term. And you can start to hear the Essendon fans that are here at Docklands tonight. We didn't hear much of them in the first half, but they've begun to find their voice. The Bombers 4-7-31. The Doggies 10-8-68. It's a 37-point lead to the Dogs. 6.5 minutes played in the third term. It's Sunday Night Footy on ABC Sport.
If I've got to worry for the Western Bulldogs, they've got some inexperienced players in Jakes, Dolan, Selwood, Davidson. They're being lowered to Essendon standard tonight. And worries me for what's going to happen when they play against a good team. But they're making some pretty poor errors, these guys.
The Hawks next week before the Cats, Sydney and Freo, their next 4, the Western Bulldogs. So they'll find out pretty quickly, Berkey.
Yeah, we've always said at Western Bulldogs, it's that bottom 6 that's a worry. I think it still can be.
Got the clearance at the stoppage. Free kick going to Bontempelli. Disposal number 24.
Great kick.
O'Donnell kicks inside the forward 50. Lovely delivery. Fraser, in fact, it was, who finds Jones, who bursts out from full forward, takes the mark. 47 from home. 3 to his name already. He's already had a career best evening, Artie Jones.
This is amazing to see a guy start on the top of the goal square and lead flat out to the 45-metre mark non-stop and just demand the ball get kicked out in front of him.
Doesn't look wildly confident that he's got the journey. An awkward approach. He veers out to the right. He thumps it. He misses to the left-hand side. He was certainly good for the carry. No worry about that whatsoever. 38 points is the lead of the Dogs. 10-9 to 4-7. Haven't kicked one in this third quarter so far, the Western Bulldogs. We're 8 minutes into it on ABC Sport.
Andy McGrath shoots the kick right to Archie Roberts, 20 metres ahead of him. And Roberts has nowhere else to go but to Zach Reid. He'll chip it back to Archie Roberts. Back pocket for the Bombers. A little bit of a wait to see where Roberts goes next. He almost goes to his left and then he chooses to go to his right and down the city wing at Docklands. Comes to ground. McNeil tries to push it away. Then Jakes has a go. Hand pass across to McNeil. Hand passes it back to Williams. He almost loses the footy. Jakes comes in to hand pass it away. And then comes Bontempelli, who takes it, hand pass to Fraser. There's a whistle on play. Free kick going to the Dogs, and it's West with it. So Riley West will have it from about 52 metres out, being taken high.
They've just had patches of sloppiness through, I guess, their handball chain, which is very, very unlike the Western Bulldogs. Actually one of their strengths. So just talks to that clumsiness aspect that permeates with playing Essendon.
So Riley West will have a shot from here as he puts this one towards goal. It's offline to the near side and a behind. It's 39 points, Western Bulldogs lead. 9 minutes played in the third.
Bombers waste no time to bring it in. Dursman, the target of a kick to half back, can't take it. And it'll be bashed out of play for a stoppage. Right half forward for the Bulldogs. John Peterson, Lauren Borden, Cal Sinclair, Nathan Burke, Andrew Mays, your call team here on ABC Sport. Easter Sunday night footy. Great to have you with us. 0437 774 774 to join us on the text line. Blackiston down to Merritt. Nice bit of ruck work, nice bit of roving. Durham dropped it in the tackle, holding the ball. He appeals vociferously to the umpire. They won't be changing his mind. And Connor Budrick, 55 metres out for the doggy. Spins the yellow share into his hands. Kicks to the pocket. Darcy's there. Hand to it from Farrow. And it's out for a throw-in right forward pocket with the Dogs deep inside attacking 50.
I do not know how you miss Marcus Bontempelli standing in the forward pocket with a radius of 20 metres around him all by himself.
How?
I don't know. How does he get there in the first place, and then how do you not kick the ball to him?
English with front position, pushes it down. It's Caldwell that collects, hand passes it to Blackiston. He just curls a ball outside of defensive 50. It's punched away by Jakes. It'll find its way to the boundary line for a throw-in at half forward for the Western Bulldogs.
Might be those black boots for the Bont. He sort of looks inconspicuous. He looks businesslike.
Yeah, probably don't trust him to catch it.
So it will be a throw-in at half forward for the Western Bulldogs. Essendon with 3 goals in this third term. Blackiston gets a tap out. It will be Bontempelli running after it. Caldwell works him off it, wins it, and hand passes it off to Dersma. Hand pass to Merritt, hard up against the boundary line. Has to run backwards before hand passing it back to Dersma. He dodges around Davidson and puts it on his boot to left half forward where Lobb's in a battle with Wright. And it's the Dog that wins out. Rory Lobb with it at right half back for the Western Bulldogs. They're ahead by 39.
Lobb measures the kick for Davidson, pulls it in just in front of the Western Bulldogs interchange. Matt Kennedy wanting to come onto the ground. Riley Sanders will scoot off to allow that to take place. Davidson takes his kick from behind halfway. Tim English limping off beneath this as well. We'll get that Maisie to keep an eye on that. Sam Darcy floats across the front of the pack at right half forward and takes the mark. He's got options everywhere inside the 50. Floats the kick in the direction of Fraser. Big fist on it by Durham. Spills to Reid for the Bombers inside the back 50. Handball over the top to Roberts, collects on the bounce, out to El Hawley, diagonal kick to the back edge of the square is a good one. On the bounce, it's collected by Johnson, off to Caldwell, smashes it inside the 50 and Peter Wright got out the back. All alone, the big fella, 30 out, directly in front.
Probably not the kick from Sam Darcy there, he absolutely skied it, probably 35 metres out from goal and just got absolutely swallowed up by about 4 Essendon players, and from there, they were able to propel through the middle of the ground and find Peter Wright out the back. So, not a bad passage of play there from Essendon, but probably it's Sam Darcy's error by foot.
3 already for the quarter here for the Bombers. For a 4th. Wright makes no mistake. Peter Wright with his first of the evening closes the gap to 33. 5-7-37 the Bombers doing all the scoring here in this term. The Bulldogs 10-10-70. We've played 13 minutes in this third quarter. Let's go downstairs. Andrew Mays.
Yeah, thanks, Joel. As you mentioned, Tim English trying to get across for a long time to the bench there, basically from deep inside his own forward 50. And so he couldn't put any weight at all on that right leg. So he ran straight, well, he didn't run, he limped straight down the race. And we'll get an update from the Western Bulldogs as to what area of that right leg is the area of concern.
Well, good transition there from the Bombers. As you mentioned, Sam Darcy's kick inside forward 50 was an ordinary one, and you give up the corridor these days, teams will score against you.
Darcy's jumped into the ruck now, but it's Parrish that'll win the footy. Puts the kick to left half forward for Essendon. It goes up for May. He gets a couple of hands to it, can't take the mark, so Lobb will gather it, collect, and send a long ball right down the wing to centre wing, where Bramble had front position, couldn't pull it in. McNeil overruns it for the Dogs. Roberts has a go at it for Essendon. In the end, Johnson, rather. Not sure where Fletcher came through it. Johnson tries to kick it forward for Essendon. Fraser comes back with it for the Dogs. He puts the kick inside forward 50. McGrath with a diving spoil there. Punches it out of bounds for the Bombers. So they're looking a little bit more lively in this third quarter across the ground, Essendon. And the margin 33 points now after the Western Bulldogs led by 54 at half-time.
Taking 9 marks, Rory Lobb. He's had a really good day.
Ball to be tossed back in. Right forward pocket for the Dogs. Darcy ambles across, right doing the ruck work for Essendon, knocks it down in the direction of Johnson, had the ball dislodged in the tackle by West, who was onto it in a flash, whipped it around the body on the left boot. And it takes an almighty off-break and goes through for a minor score in front of Zach Reid. So still doing it in minors in this quarter. The Bulldogs, they've had 4 of them. The Bombers 4 goals at the other end. 10-11 plays 5-7. 34 points the Dogs lead halfway through this third term.
Reid chips it into McGrath and then receives it back from McGrath. Still in that goal square. And then chips it out to Roberts in the left back pocket. Little chip towards Kako, who had Parrish on short with a hand pass. Ignores him. And just darts it across to McGrath. It's not 15, so he's forced to kick backwards towards Roberts. And now they'll switch it out of side of the ground across to Reid. Kick on his boot. He's looking for Mackay on the wing. Strong mark taken by Mackay. Ahead of Crofts. Gets rid of it quickly and hand passes it across to Johnson. Down the wing, he'll send it to right half forward. Gresham at the front position. O'Donnell got in there for the Western Bulldogs. A couple of hands on it enough to push it out of the boundary for a throw-in. Just outside Essendon's attacking 50. The ball will be tossed in as the Bombers look to continue to cut down this margin that the Western Bulldogs have built. It's right that just rips it out of the ruck himself, hand passes it away, but it's Bontempelli that connects. Hand pass to Kennedy, hand pass to Bramble, and he'll kick Western Bulldogs to centre half forward. It'll be a foot race on heel. McNeil had front position against Roberts, and it'll be a free kick. It was a little tap from Roberts on McNeil. There was nothing much in that. And it's a free kick to the Western Bulldogs.
I just say it. That's an ordinary decision. Like, it's a fair bit of momentum. Anyway, I know what it looked like on screen, but I think we all think the same thing.
Didn't feel like a free kick, but Lockie McNeil, the laid in for Ed Richards, gets a set shot at goal and he misses.
Struggling to score this quarter.
Yeah. Some ordinary set shots, but they're kicking the ball inside 50 has been terrible.
35 points, 5 behinds for the term for the Dogs. Pryor exits the defensive 50 with a low kick to Kako, just his 3rd disposal of the game. Flips it over the top to Roberts, who's been everywhere. 24 disposals for Archie Roberts, 21 of them kicks. Here's Archie Day-Wicks in 50 metres. It's Bailey Williams coming from behind the mark that time, unless that's against Dolan. In fact, it was against Dolan for not standing on the mark.
Wonder what Bevo is looking like in the box. I don't think he'd be too happy.
Reasonably disgruntled, perhaps the premiership coach. Here's Day-Wicks, low kick into the pocket. That's a poor delivery in the end, and Peter Wright stood no chance. Bailey Dale gets a fist to it down low and thumps it into the advertising hoardings for a boundary throw-in. Left forward pocket, Bombers into attack. Joel Peterson, Lauren Borden, Cal Sinclair, Nathan Burke, and Andrew Mays with you. Easter Sunday night here at Docklands. Roof open, glorious night for footy, and it's all the Bombers in this third term. They've kicked 4 goals to the Bulldogs, none. They lead trail by 35.
Wright punches it away. Dolan takes it, and he's taken to the turf for a ball up. 40 metres out from Essendon's goal. Wright just palms it down a little. Dolan again does the tackling and gets himself involved. Parrish takes it, has to hand pass it away quickly. Selwood fumbles it. Kennedy's there to pick up. Hand pass to O'Donnell. Hand pass to Fraser. And he can kick out to some space at left half back for the Western Bulldogs. Davidson's there to collect. Spins and kicks it towards Norton, just through his fingertips, a little too high for him. Reed's there, tries to take it for the Bombers. He can't quite get it cleanly. And then it's Bramble that will pick it up for the Doggies. Goes back to Davidson, the hand pass.
Where are you going?
Reed catches him, holding the ball. Advantage paid for Essendon. The kick comes inboard from Day-Wicks, down towards Edwards. Can he get it? Can he hack something out of this one? It's on his left boot. But it's just a minor score. He just tried to hack it towards goal.
You've just got to make the Bulldogs pay for all of this.
Donaldson, sorry, champ, you can't run through 4 players. You're not that strong.
You're definitely not that strong.
Very few are. Bob to bring it back in. His kick smothered. Guelphy diving across it. Langford got picked off by Lockie Jakes. And holding the ball, free kick to the young dog. Comes over the top to Baker. Mustachioed Oscar Baker with that flowing orange hair and the moustache. It's quite the combination that he's rolling with. Kicks up toward half forward. McNeil, now Sanders. Handball into the centre of the ground. Nicely worked to Kennedy. Stepping through Fraser once and twice. Offloads to Sanders. He pops it to the top of the goal square. Croft from the back. Wright's in front for Essendon. He had his arm held. Peter Wright providing an important defensive intervention. He's kicked it into Davidson, who was on the mark. He thumped it straight into the back of his head. That's not the right thing to do, Peter. Croft goes down at ground level, scoops it up, looking for Baker. McNeil's there for the Dogs inside the forward 50. It could be a calamitous error from Peter Wright in defence for Essendon. The Bombers will hold up at least momentarily, and we'll have a ball up 35 out from the Western Bulldogs goal.
Oh, Peter.
Breathe, Berkey. Just breathe.
I might not be here in the last quarter.
We said before the game you kept the car running.
Yep.
Kennedy with the footy, hand pass backwards towards Sanders. He chips it towards the top of the goal square. Tackle comes from West to try and keep it inside for the Western Bulldogs. Essendon might rush it over the boundary line. They don't. It's Pryor. He's hemmed up against the goal line. Will he step back? He doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know whether he can do it without getting penalised, and then he waits to be pushed over the line by Fraser. And it is just the 1 point he concedes in the end, as he looked a little uncertain about doing it. Western Bulldogs by 35.
I got a lift from Berkey. It's not running, it's on charge.
It's farcical.
Kick in field from Johnson to Parrish. The Bombers are really struggling to get it outside the defensive 50. Handball over the top from Johnson, straight to Sanders.
Make them
West, Fraser. He's missed the set. He's kicked it 30 metres across the pocket. They're as bad as each other at the moment, these two teams.
Joel Fraser, if I didn't know any better, I'd say you were the biggest head player that I've ever seen. You've been a smart aleck tonight, and your efforts have been lazy and terrible, and if I'm Bevo, I'm getting you off and not putting you on for the rest of this quarter.
Strong stuff from Nathan Burke. Xavier Dersma out wide. Just got it there. Perkins marks inside the 50. They have really failed to capitalise on the opportunities in this term, the Bulldogs. 6 behinds. Essendon with 4 goals won. Perkins turns it over again. Karmas got the late one from Wright as he pulled in the mark on the paint of the defensive 50. Bulldogs 10-13-73. Bombers 5-8-38. 22 minutes gone, third term. It's a third term that's hardly hit any inspiring highs.
And all 4 of the goals have come from Essendon, which might have been a little surprise, and it was given the first half that we saw as Lobb kicks the footy out towards Baker, close to the boundary line. Farrow's close behind him, and it'll be a boundary throwing. Down to Andrew Mays on the boundary.
The good news is Tim English has re-emerged from the rooms. Looked like his night was just about done. He's jogged back up, a couple of run-throughs with the doctor, and he'll be out there on the next rotation.
Thanks, Maisie. So they've got Croft in the ruck at the moment against Wright. Parrish takes it, hand pass to Al Hool. He just kicks as he's falling. Baker nearly picks it up, but Caldwell gets there first. Hand pass to Durham. He runs around until he can hand pass back to Parrish, who chips this one to Wright. Top of the arc for the Bombers. Peter Wright might try and go back and atone for his mistake at the other end of the field.
Well, we sat here last week, Berkey, in the exact same position with Peter Wright, about 55 metres out, and he absolutely flushed this thing.
He's the classic better kick from this distance type player.
It looks like Rory McIlroy on a par 5, is what he does. Just
over the tree line.
But if he follows his career trajectory, this will go out on the full.
Let's see. Peter Wright, 55 metres out, puts this one towards the goal face, and it's offline just to the left, only a little bit off to the left. Western Bulldogs, their lead now 34 points. It's 23 minutes played in this third term. Sunday night footy on ABC Sport.
It was an improvement from his last kick. He didn't go into the back of his opponent, that's for sure. And misses it right, and the Dogs have come back the other way. Long kick in from Budrick through the hands of Williams at half back. Dolan, Dersma had it play tunnel ball through his legs. Merritt scooped it up to Roberts. Roberts inside the 50. Edwards with the sit, got crunched between 2 Bulldogs, O'Donnell and Lobb. And they've got the support there. Budrick to O'Donnell, to Sanders at right half back, sends a high footy up the wing.
Hey.
3 Bombers fly. Durham got up the highest among it, pulled an impressive mark.
If I'm Sam Darcy and Aaron Norton, I'm introducing myself to the rest of the team at 3/4 time because they refuse to kick the ball to them.
the other Sam D who took the mark that time. Pumps it inside forward 50 for Essendon. It's bashed away from that contest. Baker scoops it up. Kennedy can take a bounce and just have a perambulation outside half back. Now off to Budrick. He turns it over. Parrish in front of halfway for the Bombers.
The bottom six of the Bulldogs are not filling me with any confidence at all.
They were down by 54 points at halftime, Essendon. The margin now 34 in this third term. Parrish just shares it out with Johnson and chooses to go back to Zach Reid. Still at centre wing for Essendon. Chips it forward towards Darcy Parrish, who has it and chucks it on his boot. He wants to switch it all the way to left half forward. Roberts will mark and then hand pass it away to Pryor, who darts this kick inside forward 50 to the pocket to no one really in particular. Wright was making a lead and it'll be out of bounds and a throw in for the Bombers. Inside there, attacking 50. 34 points the margin, the Doggies' way.
Mr. Sunday footy here on ABC Sport. Hawks and the Cats tomorrow at the MCG will be on your radio. So if you're completing your Easter road trip, you'll be able to listen to that tomorrow. Luke Beveridge has just emerged from the race and he's about to go and marshal his team. There's some time left here in this third term. Let's go downstairs. Andrew Mays.
Yeah, one magnet he won't be moving at the moment is Artie Jones, who looks like he might have re-aggravated that hamstring from last year. He's gone downstairs just to get checked.
It was round 10 last year when these two teams met. He didn't play again until the last round of the home and away season, Artie Jones. So hopefully there's not anything too serious there. Mays on the boundary tonight. Cal Sinclair, Nathan Burke, your experts. Joel Peterson, Lauren Borden calling the action for you on ABC Sport. Terrific to have you with us wherever you're listening. Bailey Williams at halfback for the Dogs. Kennedy got slung off his kick, ended up fortuitously with Bontempelli. He finds Dolan in the back edge of the centre square. He waits for the runners to go past him. Kicks a low footy to Selwood, who now pops it on over the top to Karmas. English is coming off again beneath us, so having tested that ankle or that leg, it looks no good for Tim English. As now Baker's got it on the outer side. Dogs fans getting restless. Baker kicks to half forward. They finally find Bontempelli, 55 metres from home. Goes inside the 50. Here's Sam Darcy. He rises and extends the arms to pull that one in with a bit of help from Ben Mackay, who chopped those arms as well. And finally, after not seeing it for a long time, Berkey, Sam Darcy will get a look at it from 40 out.
It's one of the few times today they've actually kicked the ball out in front of him when he's led hard. Like, it's so hard to stop. He's so tall, and if he hasn't marked it tonight, he's got a free kick when they've done that, but they've just refused to actually kick the ball to him when he's on a long lead.
Now he's at half-back flank. His work rate to get back to literally the goal square and then lead back up, making it hard for him this quarter. Hopefully gets some reward for that big running effort.
Jones kicked their last goal at the 17-minute mark of the second term. 9 consecutive behinds since then. Darcy only just makes it a 10th.
Too close to the man of the mark.
Squeezes that into the right-hand side. 35-point lead to the Dogs, closing in on three-quarter time.
Roberts has the kicking for the Bombers, just chips it out towards Farrow. Jindal up King Ross. First game last week, chips it to Merritt. And then Farrow goes back and gets it and hand passes it back to Merritt as he chips it into the centre of the ground. Siren sounds for three-quarter time here. Roof open at Docklands. Well, it's the Western Bulldogs now leading by 35 points at the last change after they did lead by 54 points at half-time. All 3 goals in that quarter went the way of the Bombers, but as Joel mentioned, the Western Bulldogs had their opportunities but not able to convert there. So Western Bulldogs below their best in the third, but Essendon trying to fight back here, given that they're on the cusp of a potential 16th consecutive loss for their club. The goal kickers for tonight so far for the Western Bulldogs, it's 3 to Arthur Jones, who's got a little concern at the moment and down in the rooms. Sam Darcy has 2. Singles to Bontempelli, Kennedy, Bramble, Norton, Williams and Davidson. And then for Essendon, it's a couple to Tom Edwards and his return back to the competition. Singles to May, Wright and Gresham. But at three-quarter time, the Western Bulldogs by 35.
So a goalless term for the Bulldogs, just the second time this season so far. The Bombers have held an opposition goalless in a quarter, and the first time in this campaign the Bulldogs have gone through a quarter without kicking a goal. It's actually the first time they've gone through even without kicking one goal, so they were multiples in all their quarters before that one. The Western Bulldogs, they've been a scoring machine. It was slowed down in that third term. Some better news with Hardy Jones just doing some run-throughs, so we'll get an update from Andrew Mays on the other side of three-quarter time. It is the Bulldogs by 35 points. Last quarter on the other side of this. Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
There's no doubt that country music is bigger than ever right now. Join me, Outback Tom, as I get you around the artists that are blazing a trail. Listen to Country Club, Sunday night at 6 on ABC Country or anytime you like on the ABC Listen app.
This is the 2026 AFL Premiership season with ABC Sport.
He'll back himself from here on his return from an ACL injury, 52 metres out. He kicks all the way to the goal and he puts this one through in his comeback. A good news story for the Bombers.
Handball back to Price, standing start alongside the centre circles, kicks to full forward. English coming across the pack. He's a little bit sore after he's pulled up there. Tim English as well. Jade Gresham picks it up. He rides the tackle, snaps and kicks a great goal.
Edwards comes in the black boots. This one from 48 metres out. And the same result. A couple for Edwards. And the Bombers have 3 in this third term.
On the bounce, it's collected by Johnson. Pop to Caldwell. Smashes it inside the 50 and Peter Wright got out the back. All alone, the big fella, 30 out, directly in front. 3 already for the quarter here for the Bombers. For a 4th. Wright makes no mistake. Peter Wright with his first of the evening closes the gap to 33. Kick infield from Johnson to Parrish. The Bombers are really struggling to get it outside the defensive 50. Handball over the top from Johnson, straight to Sanders. West, Frazier. He's missed the set. He's kicked it 30 metres across the pocket. They're as bad as each other at the moment, these two teams.
Joel Frazier, if I didn't know any better, I'd say you were the biggest head player that I've ever seen. You've been a smart aleck tonight. And your efforts have been lazy and terrible. And if I'm Bevo, I'm getting you off and not putting you on for the rest of this quarter.
The AFL on ABC Sport.
On radio.
ABC Sport Digital Radio.
And ABC Listen.
There's the sounds of the third quarter. A little snapshot of what took place in that third term. A quarter in which Essendon won 4 goals to the Western Bulldogs, who only managed to kick 7 behind. So the Bombers able to cut back the margin at three-quarter time and bring it back to 35 points. It is Western Bulldogs 10-14-74. So the Bombers 5-9-39. A couple of injury concerns at the moment for the Western Bulldogs. Tim English and Arthur Jones, just with a couple of concerns across that third quarter. Ed Richards was a laid out of this match with knee soreness, did the full warm-up but didn't take part in the game, which left Lachie McNeil to come in as a late in for the Western Bulldogs after playing in the VFL match, which also took place at Docklands tonight. It's a wonderful night. We've got the roof open at Docklands, which so rarely happens, but it's lovely that the AFL's brought it back. Lauren Borden and Joel Peterson calling the match. Cal Sinclair, Nathan Burke, our ABC Sport experts tonight, and Andrew Mays on the boundary. Western Bulldogs ahead by 35 points. Nathan Burke, Cal Sinclair, you mentioned Luke Beveridge and what he'd probably be thinking in that third term. So what's he saying right now out there to the team?
Oh, he'd be absolutely very disappointed with that third term. One thing I noticed is that when Tim English actually went off the ground, their structure actually got completely caught out. So Sam Darcy obviously had to play a lot more midfield minutes that quarter. He then had to drop a little bit behind the ball. Norton comes up the ground. I thought Essendon did really, really well in actually keeping the ball in their front half. The Western Bulldogs had a number of times they really, really struggled to bring that ball out of their defensive 50, and Essendon found a way just to, I guess, find a mark inside 50, had a couple of inside 50 repeats. But in saying that, like, Western Bulldogs had probably half a dozen shots on goal that quarter. So if they capitalised on the scoreboard, this margin could actually be a lot more significant than what it was. They just could not score. That became infectious amongst their goal kickers within the team. But if you're Brad Scott, Berkey, I reckon you'd go in at three-quarter time. Just be really positive to your Essendon players and say, look, we're not playing our best football, not that we know what that is at the moment, but well done, boys, and actually getting a bit more fight back in the game. It just felt like a lot of the players were driving their legs more. Took a couple of moments, particularly a few boys in front of goal.
Yeah, if you had said to him at half-time, 4 goals to none in the third quarter, he would have taken that absolutely, and that's what they delivered to that quarter. So well done to the Bombers, and well done young Edwards kicking 2 in a row. Really set them up to the start of that quarter, which is what they needed. That they were going to come out, they're going to try and work hard. They needed to get some nourishment on the scoreboard, and that's what they got, 4-0. I want to see how the Western Bulldogs react to not kicking a goal for a whole quarter. Is it just going to be more of the same, a bit sloppy, a bit untidy, and we'll move on to next week because we'll get 4 points? Or is Bevo going to say, you know what, there's a few of you that are just hanging on by the skin of your teeth, you better pull your fingers out?
It was an instructive Luke Beveridge rather than being particularly fired up at that huddle. Just keeping an eye on that for the Western Bulldogs. What can they come back with here in this term? Bontempelli just the 3 disposals in that quarter as well. He was reasonably well held. He had a hand in forcing it loose for the Dogs. Dale chips it forward to Davidson. The Bulldogs kicking to the northern end, the lefty radio dial here in this final term. He gets the overlap run in from Bramble, who sends a high footy inside the 50. Norton from a mile back. Croft punched it clear from the hands of Wright. And it'll be scooped up at half-back by Caldwell to Durham, who skids a kick up the broadcast side wing. O'Donnell trapped it nicely. Kennedy tried to take the tackle of Merritt. He was caught high.
Fended.
And fended high, in fact. Good spotting, Cal. He was going to be caught holding the ball either way. And so it'll be Merritt to take it from right on halfway for the Bombers.
He'll go right into the centre of Docklands to Archie Roberts. He'll kick the footy out to left half forward. Farrow with the mark. Holding onto the ball. A couple of kicks from home for Essendon. Will pop it into the forward pocket. Wright rises this time and takes the mark.
Peter Wright was just trotting by himself all through forward 50 for about 10 seconds there, all by himself.
It was extremely well-weighted kick. Like, he watched Wright, didn't necessarily wait for him to tick back up at the kicker. Just knew he had a significant advantage. He put it into the pocket of space and just gave him enough sort of purchase just to have a run and jump at it. Very clever kick.
Covering the ground as well, Peter Wright was involved down the defensive end a couple of moments ago. Set shot, 45 metres out, close to the boundary, kicks this one and it's off to the near side. So a minor score for the Bombers. Western Bulldogs lead is 34 points, down to Andrew Mays on the boundary.
Confirmation from the Western Bulldogs that Artie Jones won't take any further part in this match with a low-level hamstring concern. And same goes for Tim English. He'll be on the bench for the rest of this one with a knee concern.
Thanks, Maisie. Hopefully nothing too serious there for either of them. The Bulldogs taking on Hawthorn as part of Gather Round next week. As we said earlier, they've got Geelong, Sydney and Freo in a testing little month coming up after they came back from the bye. Bundrick inside the defensive 50, hands it off to Lobb, pops it over the top now to Kennedy. Kennedy's got a runner out wider still. He can use that man now in Bailey Williams, who takes it right on halfway, ambles forward, drops a low wobbly kick inside the forward 50 and finds the chest of Josh Dolan, who takes the mark, kicks to the pocket, and Norton was leaking out the back. Aaron Norton pulls it in deep in the right forward pocket.
Better decision-making there by the Western Bulldogs. The kicks were good, but the decisions that the players made were far more good decisions rather than just, who am I going to kick it to? There's 3 blokes there and I'll choose the wrong one.
Norton comes around the body and likes it off the boot. He gets the first goal for the Bulldogs since the 17-minute mark of the second term. And he pushes the margin to 40 points. 11-14-80 to Essendon 5-10-40. Breaks a run of 4 consecutive Bomber goals. Aaron Norton kicking his second of the evening.
Well, it's just nice to see the Western Bulldogs convert after a pretty ordinary third quarter where they probably had half a dozen shots on goal that just couldn't get through the big sticks. But you are right, a lot better decisions, a lot cleaner. A little bit of a lucky mark there inside 50 from Emmett, but I'll tell you what, Aaron Norton's work rate, once again, I just love the way he flies at the footy, but just probably caught Essendon off guard. Just drived his legs just to find some space inside 50.
Right in the middle, taps it down. It's straight to Kennedy, though. Hand pass to Bontempelli, hand pass to Davidson. Will kick the Western Bulldogs inside 50. Will head to a pack at the back. Was Norton, bounces off his chest, falls down to McGrath. Goes for a sprint backwards, almost hand passes, and in the end pops it on his boot, looking for Al Hooley, who will mark. Davidson closing on him late. Puts the kick down the wing towards Day. Can't take the mark. In comes O'Donnell. Hand pass to Bontempelli. Hand pass across to Bramble. Little chip kick forward finds Sanders. And Western Bulldogs on the approach now with Sanders at centre wing. Tells O'Donnell to go where he wants him, and it's a little 45-degree kick to him. Marks and puts this one inside the forward pocket. The hand pass will come from Dolan. Hand pass to West. Flicks it back towards Davidson at the top of the 50 for the Dogs. Hand pass towards Baker. Kicks it away as he's being tackled. And in the end, it's a double punch from Day Wick. Still in a dangerous zone for the Bombers as West gathers it, tries to snap it away. He's kicking as he's falling. It'll get to the top of the goal square. Wright went up with two hands. Couldn't take the mark. Bontempelli's there to crumb. Hand pass to Kennedy. Has a shot at goal. He's offline from the very beginning of that kick. And it goes out of bounds on the full. But that could have been another opportunity for the Western Bulldogs to add to this lead. They're up by 40 points.
Probably goes to Berkey's comment, yes, that unselfishness at times can remain costly. Bontempelli could just put that through the sticks and be back within a bounce.
Probably could have kicked 5 to go with his 30 tonight, the Bont. He's given up a few gilt-edged chances. Dogs will send it back inside the forward 50 after Farrow got it out of there, and Kennedy kicks it straight back to him. So Jacob Farrow swings it across the back arc. Mackay has it land on his lap. Just his third disposal of the game, Ben Mackay. Off to the hard-charging Andy McGrath, who was creative last time coming outside the defensive 50. Flips the handball forward to Durham, continues to run, charges it forward to Caldwell. Caldwell to Durham, blind hand pass. Horrible decision in the end. Allowed Davidson in, and the Dog can pounce on the turnover. Dale got it up to Sanders. Away to Norton now. Norton's at left half forward. Darcy's leading back to the goal square. Now he hits up to the pocket, and Norton drills it onto his chest. Darcy couldn't take the mark. He immediately had his defender jump on him. And then a terrific tackle inside the forward 50 from Bontempelli. Forces the footy loose, not rewarded. Davidson picks it up for the Dogs. He squares it up, and Dolan goes back with the flight and hangs on. 30 metres out, directly in front. One of their 3 inclusions can go back and kick his first of the season.
What do you think of Aaron Norton? Did he have to take the bounce? Could he just kick it out the back pretty... Made life a little bit difficult for...
He did, but
Sam Darcy.
The Essendon midfielders come charging through the middle and just completely overdid it. If you're Kyle Langford and the other guys, Peter, right down forward, you've got to be running up and saying, boys, that's just terrible. Kick it down to us, for goodness sake.
Played the first 7 games of last season, Josh Dolan. Has earned his opportunity early in the new. And he just sneaks that one in for his first goal of the campaign. Second of the term for the Dogs. 2 in a row. They lead by 46, 12-14, 86 to Essendon 5-10-40. We played 7 minutes in this final term. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Your experts, Nathan Burke and Cal Sinclair.
Zach Merritt, 22 touches. Interesting. Wouldn't have thought he'd had that much of the footy tonight, but...
Not many contested, to be totally honest.
Archie Roberts is leading with 30, Marcus Bontempelli 30, Riley Sanders 28, Matt Kennedy 25. I think he's been very good and a goal. Joel Fraser, Berkey's mate, with 24.
Old Puddinhead.
Must run in the first one, maybe.
I think Tim Watson, when he was coaching, he said we had heads like boarding house puddings.
What is that?
I don't think it was a
not a compliment.
No.
So Gacko sends it inside 50. Edwards will kick this one towards goal. It won't get all the way. Gresham's on the end of it. Slams it through from point blank range. And Gresham pops through his second for tonight. And Edwards, for a couple of his goals, gets a goal assist as well. It's Essendon 6 goals, 6-10-46. Western Bulldogs 12-14-86. 8 minutes played in the final term. Boarding house puddings.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, he said. Yeah, he said we had heads like boarding house puddings, which none of us knew what that actually meant. We assumed it wasn't a compliment. You're right.
Is that related to sort of appearance or density or
size?
Density.
Just size, I think.
Size.
Yeah.
Okay.
Boarding house puddings must be big.
He probably went to boarding school, didn't he? If he's from Dimboola?
Yeah, maybe.
Might have been sent somewhere.
Maybe. Someone on the text can tell us, are boarding house puddings big?
I once had a PE teacher refer to me as a lemonade sandwich.
Oh, that's a different one.
Right. We're still waiting for the Dennis Pagan story, which we need at some point as well throughout this game. Here's Merritt takes it away at the stoppage after McNeil handed it up to him. Kicks a high footy up toward half forward. Jakes and Dolan both there. Two of the young chargers for the Dogs. In fact, it's Bramble that comes away with it. Feeds the hand pass forward. That's a better tackle from Zach Merritt. Drags McNeil to the ground.
I've overanalyzed the lemonade sandwich thing for many years. I finished school almost 20 years ago and just still can't get my head around it.
Bit soggy?
Don't know.
Do you think your PE teacher can
maybe just a bit, I don't know.
Just a bit nothing?
Yeah, just a bit, what are you, you know?
Here's Roberts. Roberts drives it inside the forward 50 to full forward for the Bombers. And Selwood picks that off pretty easily.
Well, what is that?
Where are you going?
He got a little bit caught in two minds there as he gallops out from fullback. Flick the handball across to Karmas. Karmas kicks to a one-on-one. McGrath and young Dolan. McGrath takes the chocolates there and takes the mark. 70 from home for Essendon.
Here is McGrath. Will put it inside the forward pocket. Karmas had front position on that one. Durham dives over the top of him. And it'll be a free kick going to Karmas.
Puts himself in the right spots, Karmas. Every time.
Had a very good season, as Joel said, looking for a trade across the off-season has been sensational in the first three games coming into this one tonight.
It'd be useful at Carlton if they hadn't forgot about him.
That's very true. That's very true. Just quite didn't reach it at deadline day, did it? As Karmas kicks it out to left half back. Bontempelli picks it up, hand pass to McNeil. Hand pass across.
3-on-1 up forward. Put it on your boot.
To Sanders, who gets to...
Seriously, it's 3-on-1 in the forward line. You had Lobb, West and Norton against one Essendon defender.
You got probably the best two contested marks in the game.
I tell you what, these blokes their ears would fall off if Tony Lockett was playing this game. If you mucked around with the footy like through here and he's standing inside 50, well, you'd only do it once.
Yep.
These blokes continually overuse the ball through the middle of the ground, racking up cheap possessions, getting extra stats.
Johnson to Merritt, who kicks the Bombers inside 50. It'll be a free kick coming away for the Bombers here. Tom Edwards, just with a little nudge, went to ground.
I could also tell you what Lance Franklin would have thought. He would have absolutely raced up to that midfield and given them the biggest...
Exactly.
Honestly, it would have been the scariest thing. He would have run up to that midfield and given them the biggest bake.
Well, the powder puffs we've got playing up the forwards these days wouldn't know how to give anyone a bake. It might hurt someone's feelings.
Here's Tom Edwards. He's only in his third game, but he's already kicked two in his return. This one from directly in front, 48 metres out, not quite his third tonight. Just behind Western Bulldogs, margin 39 points. It got out as high as 54 in that second term. Now sitting at 39, 12 minutes into this final term.
Well, Tom Edwards is...
Tell us what you think, Berkey.
We're getting
Tell you what, there's still 12 minutes to go.
Berkey off the top rope tonight.
Like he's a public holiday tomorrow.
My favourite kind.
I need to lie down.
You need a cold shower.
Cal Sinclair and Nathan Burke with you.
We'll take you to Kerford Road after this. Give you a dunking.
Chucking me off the pier. Thrown back in, Lob. Wins it down. Kennedy's there for the Dogs. West caught in an awful bind. Tried to fend off, got tackled. Spilt to Bontempelli. Handball away to Dolan. Dolan kicks the Dogs inside the forward 50. It sat beautifully for McNeil. Great craft from Croft. He flicked it over the top to Norton, who runs in and kicks his third. Little deft touch there from Jordan Croft. The sleight of hand as he was spinning to flick the handball out the side to Aaron Norton, who walked it in for the easiest goal he'll kick in his career. And the Bulldogs get their third of the term. 13-14-92, play 6-11-47, the margin 45, 13 played in the last.
Well, lo and behold, Dolan gets a handball receive under pressure in the middle of the ground. He throws it on his boot, and there's 3-on-3 inside 50, and the Bulldogs were just good enough to get it free and walk in a goal, Norton in the goal square. Doesn't occur if Dolan doesn't just go, you know what, I'm going to cut my losses and I'm going to get it forward and allow my forwards to do their thing one out. First time tonight.
So May in the ruck for Essendon comes down. Fraser has a go at it. In the end, he does the tackling on May. And we'll have another stoppage in the middle.
Wouldn't be many ruckmen out there with Rory Lobb's haircut at the moment.
Wouldn't be many individuals out there with Rory Lobb's haircut at the moment. Actually, there might be a few. Depends where you are.
Out to Dersma. Hand passes it back to Farrow. A little chip forward to Roberts. Where are we getting more of Rory Lobb's haircut?
I used to live around Brunswick.
Oh.
Brunswick's at a North Fitzroy kind of area.
I know where you're heading.
Doesn't happen where I live.
Roberts kicks to Kako inside 50. Top of the goal square, falls down to the bottom. Gresham snaps this one. Puts it in through the goals, and he's got another. And Essendon are showing some fight tonight. And Jade Gresham has been part of that. Hasn't quite been part of the side at all times since he's switched over from St Kilda. But he scored his third tonight. It's Essendon 7-11-53, Western Bulldogs 13-14-92. That's 39 points the Doggies' advantage. 15 minutes gone in the fourth.
He did show a bit of fight and intent after half time. Jade Gresham driving his legs, kicked a terrific goal from the boundary and set one up beautifully to I think it was Anderson in that third term, where he just managed to kick 2 goals. But he'll have 10 disposals, three goals. Not a bad effort from him today.
What I love is Kako going into the centre bounce. He got that last clearance, kicked that one inside 50. It's great for his learning.
Found himself out of the team at the start of the year, Jade Gresham, so he needed to win his spot back. Fraser cruises out of the centre square, kicks inside forward 50, looking for Norton at full forward. Roberts is there, mops up for the Bombers, kick around the body, a dangerous one. Still trying to work it out was Baker on hands and knees inside the forward 50 for the Bulldogs. McGrath to Farrow, his kick touched on the way through. Skids its way out to Kako at half-back, went without it. Sanders picks it up. Nice pick up from Rory Lobb down low. Hand pass to Dolan, to Dale. Cuts his kick back through the middle. Finds Budrick 70 metres from home. Kicks an absolute laser to Norton. And Zach Merritt thumps the turf in frustration after he lunged at that footy. Norton steamed out from full forward, took it about in front of his eyes, and he's got a 45-metre set shot.
They seem to have that leading lane a fair bit tonight, just to be able to just lead directly out of the square. Old Jason Dunstall style back in the 90s. Haven't really seen that happen too much at AFL level these days, to be given just a clean leading lane, particularly up the guts.
3 goals 2 for Aaron Norton tonight, and he doesn't like that one off the boot. 3 goals 3, and that margin gets back to an even 40 points. 0437774774. Greg says, "Hi Berkey, tell us what you really think." Simon from Adelaide says, "I love Berkey." So the feedback on the text line is good. 0437774774.
Johnson hand passes it to Blackiston. He spins around defensive 50, then chips it out to Caldwell, who marks. I don't think I want to be on the end of a spray from Berkey.
No, we've got to be
it's
careful.
It's coming before the end of the year, Loss.
I can't wait.
Keep you on your toes.
At least he said year and not night.
Yeah,
If it was coming before the end of the night, that would be all kinds of foreboding.
Caldwell to Farrow to right, back to Farrow. He kicks down to Al Hooley.
He's on staycation too.
Yeah, so he can really let loose.
Yeah.
So he's really relaxed.
Yeah, can. Right,
Al Hooley with the kick here, just to a hot spot in the forward 50. Gets bashed away, picked up by Williams. There's plenty of dogs around the footy. Hand pass to Lobb. Hand pass to Dolan. His hurried kick gets to the front of the pack, though, where Darcy will punch it away. He can pick it up, share it with West. Hand pass across to Williams. He'll hand pass back to Dolan. Hand pass across to Bramble, who's happy to just take this one over the line. And it's insufficient intent, and it is a free kick to the Bombers. He just waited for that one to come to him, and there was a bit of a tightening of that in the rule book this week. So that will be a Asad Al-Hooley free kick for the Bombers. He has it again in a similar position for the Bombers. Western Bulldogs ahead by 40.
So from beyond the boundary, kicks to full forward. Reaching up is May. Coming across the front of the pack, paid the mark. He pulled it in inches off the turf. He's taken a couple of good contested marks up front, has Archie May. Rory Lobb's a little bit slow to rise after that contest. 45-metre set shot incoming from the young Bomber forward.
Yeah, well done. A good genuine pack mark there. He attacked it with pace and speed and took a couple of grabs, but his momentum was far better than anyone else in that contest.
Overlooked by Richmond's VFL team after his draft year. Went across to WA, plied his trade, plucked in the mid-season draft last season. Already got one tonight. 1 goal, 1 for Archer Mate, who stutters in, sinks his right shoe through it, and the set shot is pure. Nice finish from the big fella. after an equally adept contested mark. He's got a pair for the night. And that lead of the Western Bulldogs back to 34 points. So the Bombers have done a good job here in this second half to trim that back. 19 played in this final term. The Bombers 8-11-59. The Bulldogs 13-15-93. Sunday night footy on ABC Sport.
He's looked good a few times, Archie May, when he actually gets an opportunity to run and jump at it. And I always wonder with kind of forwards like that, who's only played probably, the 9 games, what he would kind of be if he was probably in a system where he was a little bit complimentary, a little bit more, I guess, mature. Probably being the key forward in Essendon at the moment wouldn't be the easiest gig going around.
Right back in the middle. Palms it down. It's Kennedy that collects. Hand pass to Croft. Long kick inside forward 50 for the Dogs. Up at the front is Blackiston. Couple of hands to it. Brings it down to McGrath. It's a free kick going the way of the Western Bulldogs in the marking contest anyway. And Sam Darcy will have it for the Dogs.
Yeah, these days, if you're behind and you put an arm around the player in front of you and pull them sideways, especially in a one-on-one contest like that, the umpires are going to spot it every day.
Sam Darcy kicked 6 goals the last time these two sides met. He won't get there tonight, but he will put through his third. And it's a 14th goal for the Western Bulldogs. Their score 14-15-99. Essendon 8-11-59. It's a 40-point lead to the Dogs. 20 minutes played in this final term. It's Sunday night footy on ABC Sport.
Quick exit out of the middle there. It was Kennedy again that got involved with that one. So Croft hasn't had a big night up forward, hasn't done a lot. So with Rory Lobb off the ground and Tim English off the ground, he's been thrown into the ruck. So it's good to get him into the play. Good clearance on the end of the handball there from Kennedy and a long kick forward. So hopefully he can get his hands on the footy before the end of the game. Just give him a little bit of confidence going into next week, because they may need an extra tall, especially if Tim English's knee is coming up.
Right into the ruck now. Croft is in there too, and he will get a touch here. Jordan Croft, he tried to link up with Sanders, and the return hand pass from Riley Sanders just missed the target. He was maybe moving a little bit too quickly. Croft lays the tackle on Caldwell.
Well, Reeves and Meek waiting for him in Adelaide next week, which won't actually be the easiest task for the 5-gamer.
Tussling with a couple of big rigs when he comes up against the Hawks, that's for sure. Kennedy away from the clearance. He tumbles his left foot kick up toward half forward. Mackay got trapped with it. Baker got run down by Caldwell. Just got the handball away to Dale between the wing and half forward for the Dogs. Kennedy's kick knocked down by Guelphy. Good pressure. And then Guelphy has shanked that almost out of bounds on the fall. He put it into reverse inside the forward 50. Gresham and Karmas wrestle for the football. Neither can keep it in. We'll have a throw in right forward pocket, 45 metres out from the Bombers' goal. They trail by 40 points. And I reckon you would have got a reasonable price for the Bulldogs not having 100 points on the board at the 22-minute mark of the last, Oz.
Only 1 point away from it, though, as the ball is tossed inside. Essendon's attacking 50. Guelphy takes it and gets tackled down.
Haven't scored less than 106 so far this season.
Inside 50 conversion for the Bulldogs is 57%. For the Bombers, 56%.
As Croft palms this down straight to Caldwell. He tries to hand pass it to Kako. He gets to Bramble, who's taken high.
So that's shots from inside 50.
Shots from inside 50. They're, well, after a shot here.
Well, it's an Essendon free kick.
The Bombers are probably going to have a better inside 50 shot percentage than the Western Bulldogs, and who would have thought that before the game?
So Caldwell gets the free kick out. He's knocked just behind play. And we'll have a set shot, 45 metres out, 45-degree angle. Jai Caldwell will pop this one. It's a good-looking kick towards goal. He puts it there. He sends it home. And it's another goal for the Bombers, as we show plenty of fight in this contest. Something we haven't seen all year from them, but we're seeing it tonight against the Western Bulldogs. Essendon 9-11-65. Western Bulldogs 14-15-99. 23 minutes ticked over in this final term. It's Western Bulldogs ahead by 34.
You are right, Loz. There probably is a little bit more to review in a positive sense from the Essendon Football Club compared to the last kind of couple of weeks. They haven't just completely, thrown in the towel. Not saying that, I don't think the Bulldogs have actually played their best brand of football, particularly in this second half. I feel like, just looking at Luke Beveridge on the screen, he's not exactly the happiest camper at the moment. But, yeah, definitely something for Brad Scott to have a look at the very least, despite being down by almost 40 points.
Yeah, Luke Beveridge could rightly be pretty frustrated with the way this second half's played out. It's a free kick as Durham smashes it inside forward 50. It's coming back to the Bulldogs for a hold. It'll be Matt Kennedy to take it.
Caldwell hasn't had a lot of the footy. He's had 15 possessions, but he's had 7 contested and 6 clearances. I actually like his work in tight. He's one bloke who's prepared to get his hands dirty in tight.
Kennedy is high and as far as he can to fall forward. It's bashed away by the Essendon defence and for a boundary throw-in. Struggled with a lot of injuries at the start of his career. Jai Caldwell had a recurring sequence of soft tissue injuries when he was at the Giants. Spent a couple of seasons there. He's been a handy pickup for Essendon coming back to his home state. 25 minutes gone here in this final term. Dogs by 34 points. They were up big at half-time and haven't gone on with it. Up by 54 points at the half. Williams lays a crunching tackle on Dersma. Locks him up and a ball up. 8 goals to 4 the way of Essendon since half-time.
Matt Kennedy's had 14 disposals this quarter.
38,786, the crowd in here at Docklands tonight. All tossed up. Caldwell goes after it. It's Bontempelli that wins it. Hand passes it to Kennedy, who gets another touch in this last quarter. Kicks it to a pack. It's tapped away by West. He goes chasing after it. Farrow's there too. He was almost waiting for Farrow to take it and try and rush it behind. West takes it. Farrow takes him. And it will be a ball up right on the goal line.
That was smart. Not rush it just to the goal line. Allow them to make the decision first.
Darcy taps it away. Caldwell picks it up. Just tries to clear it away with a kick. But it's right to Bailey Williams, who was sitting there waiting to mop that up. And Bailey Williams will now get a shot at goal late for the Western Bulldogs at about a 45-degree angle, 40 metres out from the sticks.
And Brad Scott just saying, again, silly mistake where you're snapping the ball out of the back line, you get it towards the boundary. Even if it's a lasso free kick, you get time to set up behind, but don't kick it at a 45-degree angle to their wall.
Bailey Williams sprays this one off the side of his boot. It'll go all the way out of bounds on the floor. Was touched over the line. So that's not a great result for Essendon because it means another stoppage inside forward 54. Then Western Bulldogs ahead by 34.
Now I'm watching Bontempelli at this stoppage. He's starting on the defensive side, but I reckon you're going to hit this absolute pace.
Kind of sums up the night in a way for the Bulldogs. An easy opportunity. They've just frittered them away. It's been not a particularly clean performance. Good pressure there from Merritt to lay the tackle. He wins it back from Bailey Dale inside the defensive 50. So the Bombers, of course, are going to equal a club record losing streak at 17 games. They drop this one. They trail by 34 points. May kicks inside the forward 50. Gresham wrestles with calmness and sees it out. Of course, that was in the drug ban season when they lost the 17 in a row. So they'll equal that tonight, this Essendon team. And they've got Melbourne at Gather Round. The Demons having come off a win against the Gold Coast Suns at the MCG earlier today. So they will be brimming with confidence, Stephen King's team. Essendon, as Cal said earlier, can at least take some more positives out of this performance. And they've got it inside forward 50 at the moment with another stoppage.
It's May that rises over the top and taps it away in the ruck for the Bombers. Out to Day Wicks. He hand passes it to Roberts. Can't gather it as he's falling to the turf. Players surround the footy. Day Wicks is there doing the tackling on Dale. And we'll have a ball up 60 metres out from Essendon's goal. Of course, the Dogs haven't lost this season. Essendon haven't won. As Caldwell takes it out, hand passes it away, and it's taken by Baker. He flicks it across to Sanders, moves it to Kennedy, who just shoves it on his boot with a long ball right down the wing to a contest where Norton and Blackiston are happy to push it over the line for a throw-in. Centre wing outer side of the ground. We have got the roof open tonight on Easter Sunday, which is a rarity. And we had a texter say maybe we're lying, but I can see the moon. I'm looking at it right now. So it's a wonderful night at Docklands to be out here and get a little bit of fresh air in as well. Tossed in, Caldwell just pushes it out towards Kako. He hand passes it to Durham. He wasn't looking where the ball was coming from, so it's Western Bulldogs that'll take the footy. Bramble has it. He's tackled by Durham. And it spills over the boundary line for a lasso free kick. which will be going the way of the Bulldogs. Sam Durham's not happy about that, but Jordan Croft will be the recipient of the free kick.
You could still be making it up about the roof, you know. It is radio, it's theatre of the mind, Loz. You could be embellishing that detail to our audience.
I wouldn't lie to them.
Hey, far too trustworthy for that. Croft kicks down the line through the hands of Norton. McNeil rows it at the back of the pack, can't take it with him. Darcy did well. He had to do the ground level work. McGrath's there for the Dogs now. Dons, now they're inside the defensive 50. Roberts and Farrow. Roberts with a big 36 disposal night. Coming outside the defensive 50 now is Pryor. He feigned around Darcy, kicks up the wing. May competes for it, battles with O'Donnell. The latter took the football, then he got taken down. Oscar Baker lays a good tackle on that outer side. The umpire scoots in and says mine. 34-point lead to the Western Bulldogs, led by 35 at quarter time, 54 at half time, 35 at three-quarter time. Rory Lobb, the latest Bulldog to be put on ice after he limped off earlier in this term. So no English, no Jones in this final term for the Dogs. And now Rory Lobb just being managed through these last minutes. We'll be with you for about another 40 minutes after the conclusion of this game. So we'll get some reaction from the rooms and look ahead to a big Easter Monday footy here on ABC Sport. Free kick in the ruck contest here, and Jordan Croft's going to take it again for the Doggies and try and set something up late in the piece.
Little chip kick across to Sanders. He's out on the city wing of Docklands. Puts this on his right boot. There's plenty of players that'll surround the footy at the drop. It gets punched away, falls out the back. Neil overruns it. Bontempelli's there to pick it up. Hand passes it quickly. Perkins collects for Essendon. Hand passes it to Dersma. His kick will be mopped up by the wall. The Western Bulldogs defenders, and that's Buku Karmas, who gets a cheer as well from the Western Bulldogs crowd. Puts his kick to almost the top of the goal square. Norton flies, can't take the mark. Hand pass comes out. Dersma's there again. It's in the end, collected by Farrow for the Bombers. Hand pass to Perkins. Little hurried kick outside of defensive 50. Makes its way to Gresham, who gets tackled by Selwood, and he will win the free kick. And Gresham can just kick it out wide to Caldwell, who's running down the wing.
He just gallops off half back. Kicks down the line. It'll go out untouched. Buku Karmas will have the last say. It has not been the cleanest night for the Western Bulldogs, but they will take care of business, improve to 4-0 on this young season, and consign Essendon to the ignominy of an equal club record 17th consecutive loss. The Dogs did what they had to do, get it done by 34.
Red, white and blue. We come out snarling, Bulldogs through and through. Bulldogs bite and Bulldogs roar. We give our very best. But you can't beat the boys of the Bulldog breed. We're the team of the mighty West.
They may not have given their very best tonight, the Bulldogs, but Essendon certainly couldn't beat the team from the mighty West. 14-15, 99 and 9-11, 65. They had 10 at the half, the Dogs. They kicked 7 behinds in that third term and went goalless. Essendon kicked the only 4 goals of that quarter after it was a 54-point margin at half-time. The Bombers pegged it back. They kicked 8 goals to 4 after half-time. So it wasn't a blowout on the scoreboard. It was not the win they were searching for, though, and the Dogs improved to 4-0.
Red, white and blue. We come out snarling, Bulldogs through and through. Bulldogs fight and Bulldogs roar. We give our very best. 'Cause you can't beat the boys of the Bulldog breed. We're the team of the mighty West. 'Cause you can't beat the boys of the Bulldog breed. The team of the mighty
They will finish the round top of the table, the Western Bulldogs, the lone undefeated team in the competition as we close out round 4. 4-0, a healthy percentage with a testing 4 weeks ahead. They will head to Gather Round to take on Hawthorn, Essendon to face the Suns in South Australia next week. 3 goals to Norton, 3 to Darcy, 3 to Jones for the Bulldogs. A hamstring injury to Jones, a sour note on the night for the Western Bulldogs. Singles to Dolan, to Bramble, to Williams, to Bontempelli, who could have kicked about 5, and Matt Kennedy also kicked a goal for the Western Bulldogs this evening. Jay Gresham kicked 3 for Essendon. All of those came in the second half. Ads did the 2 goals too for Tom Edwards. May kicked their first goal of the night and added one in the second half. Peter Wright kicked a long goal. Jai Caldwell, another goal for Essendon this evening. Bulldogs winners by 34, so far less than the margin many were expecting. You could maybe shave 100 points off it for what some thought we might get when we turned up here tonight. So that begs the question, which has been sent through off the text line as well, Cal and Berkey. Are there more positives to take out of that for Essendon this evening?
I think Brad Scott will take any form of positive from this season. So the fact that they've kicked 8 goals to 4 in the second half, and that's a positive. That's a genuine positive. At half-time, he absolutely would have taken that. I think the form of May, he kicked 2 goals, took 2 big contested marks, so, mate, that's good. And I think Edwards, his leading patterns coming at the footy, if they start to use the ball a little bit better through the middle, he straightened them up a couple of times, got on the lead, kicked 2 goals himself, could have kicked another one in that third quarter. So there are some individual positives, and the fact that they won the second half, let's be honest, they dragged Western Bulldogs down to their standard, and the Bulldogs allowed themselves to be dragged down to their standard, so it wasn't as if they played outstanding football to kick 8 goals. A lot of it was on the Western Bulldogs, but you know what? Any form of nourishment at the moment around the Essendon Football Club, when you've lost 17 in a row, you take. You grasp it and you run with it.
Because they're pretty tough places to be when you're not going well, and I guess the environment, needs to be, still be enjoyable for guys to come to work. But I completely agree with you. I felt like the Doggies sort of after half-time just felt like they were kind of delaying, second-guessing their decision by handball. That's one of their real strengths when they kind of don't, hesitate. They feed they feed their runners. They use that quarterback handball, but it just felt at times they thought, I might just have another look, and it just kind of put out their whole system. They just couldn't convert in that third quarter. Like, they would have had probably 6 opportunities to really just put that game to absolute bed. But just looking at some of the key stats for the Bulldogs, Matt Kennedy, 36 touches, Marcus Bontempelli, 35, particularly that first half. He was literally allowed to do whatever he wanted to do, still wound up with 35 touches and 1 goal. Probably could have been 3 or 4. Riley Sanders found a fair bit of the footy with 34. And then after that, Berkey's mate Fraser ended up with 26.
Just to sum up how sort of strange the night was in a couple of ways. Normally the host broadcaster will go for the big star, the player that ripped the game open or something like that. The host broadcaster was just out there interviewing Lockie McNeil, who played in the VFL earlier tonight, was a late inclusion and had 7 touches. So that's about how the night's gone on the whole when the boundary rider for the host broadcaster's out there interviewing Lockie McNeil for the Bulldogs.
So he had 13 touches, but took 8 quarters to get them.
Yes, exactly right.
Might just be helping him out to get together around, give him a little bit of media street exposure. Yep. You never know; those things do add up.
Yep.
From time to time.
In the CBA, we are meant to have access to every player throughout the course of the year, so maybe that ticks the box.
And it's those kind of players that, believe it or not, they've got the best stories to tell. So,
of course they do.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Always should be giving them the pump up when needed.
First game of the year for Lockie McNeil. He was the late replacement for Ed Richards. So that the Bombers side of thing is contrasted by the Bulldogs side of thing. They far from shot the lights out tonight, the Western Bulldogs.
Yeah, not good form coming into a really big one against the Hawks next week. They were in great form. You have a bye that kills that form to a degree. You're knowing you've got 2 weeks before you play the Bombers, which you pretty much can chalk up a win. And as much as Bevo wouldn't have wanted them to succumb to that, I think they did.
A little relaxed across the
Yeah, and in addition, they've actually got a couple of concerns. So they've got Jones is probably going to miss with a hamstring injury, which is very unfortunate for him. I actually thought he was terrific, particularly taking a few grabs overhead. Got Tim English. I actually watched him post-game shaking the hands of the Essendon players. He's limping, so that's not necessarily just pull him out of the game and just hope he sort of corrects himself. And Rory Lobb as well. I'm not too sure what he's done, but there seems to be a bit of an injury concern with him too.
Contest late that he limped off the ground, so he got put on ice pretty early on. They play Saturday night at Adelaide Oval in Gatherround. Let's go down into the rooms. Andrew Mace.
Yeah, thanks, Joel. It's, I would say, quite subdued. It's just job done, tick that box and move on to next week. Of course, they are still the only undefeated side now in the entire competition after the opening 4 rounds. So pretty happy Bulldogs team.
Sons of the West, woo! Red, white and blue, woo! We'll come out snarling. Bulldogs through and through, we sing. Bulldogs fight and Bulldogs rock. We give our very best. We shall be the boys of the Bulldog Creek with the team of the mighty West. Woo!
Well, the biggest or strongest rendition you'll hear of the Western Bulldogs song, very much reflecting the attitude as well. Just a little bit of a trophy presentation, and we'll be back with Riley Sanders in just a second.
Good on you, Maisie. Thank you. Yeah, we rated that Port Adelaide song after our game yesterday, 3 out of 10, Loz. I don't think that was much better in terms of energy and that kind of thing this evening. So the Bulldogs, Hawthorn Saturday night at Gather Round. That is going to be a very, very impressive matchup, and the Whitten Cup being presented to the Bulldogs as well by Ted Whitten Jr. in the rooms, which is good to see. So Marcus Bontempelli's got his hands on a little bit of silverware with the matchup between these two teams. And just saying a word of celebration as well. 14-15-99 to Essendon, 9-11-65. So the Bombers sit on the bottom of the table, save for Richmond, with yet to get off the mark. So Richmond and Essendon still the only two undefeated teams so far in this season. 0437 774 774.
Just to make comment on the song, I reckon good teams do that a little bit, because I reckon they've got some maturity in that group to go, I reckon Bevo's going to have some words to potentially say to us. So they probably know going in to that celebration post-game to think, all right, yeah, we've got the job win, but I reckon we're going to get some feedback about how we sort of played, and there's a fair few things that we need to correct. So sign of a group that's been around for a little bit and been coached by Bevo for a long time, so they might sense a little bit of feedback coming their way.
They still put in the woo. If I was captain, I'd be banning the woo in between each verse. Not needed.
You're not a wooer?
No, it's sons of the rest. Woo. No. No woos.
Joel Selwood had a really good story he told a few...
Hang in there, Liz. We've got about 40 minutes to go. Could get worse.
Joel Selwood told a really good story a few weeks ago about first gamers and when they get a Gatorade shower after the thing, and I'm not sure, can't remember who the player was that actually said to him, who cleans this up?
Was it Cam Guthrie?
Cam Guthrie said, who cleans this up? And he goes, I don't actually know. And he goes, well, it's all well and good that we celebrate a first gamer, and that's fantastic, and we pray with Gatorade, but there's a poor volunteer within the organisation that has to probably spend half an hour cleaning this all up off the ground in our rubbish. So they actually canned it and said, singing the song and being in the middle is enough. Yep. Yeah, we don't need to sort of, trash the rooms or anything like that. And just probably speaks a little bit about their culture. But, bit of a side story from what I observed from the Bulldogs' projection of their song.
A bird doesn't poop in its own nest.
No, there's a few variations of that. That was very artfully said on the broadcast medium as well, Berkey. So you've done well there. Bulldogs win by 34 points. Joel Peterson, Lauren Borden, Nathan Burke, Cal Sinclair with you. Andrew Mays is in the Bulldogs rooms. Maisie.
Thanks very much, Joel. It's a pretty jovial Bulldogs rooms here with the representation from the Whitten family, an important evening for the footy club, and a win that has ticked the box. Riley Sanders had a bit more responsibility in the midfield tonight. Riley, congratulations. First thoughts after that win?
Yeah, it was good, especially the first half. We obviously were able to put 60 or 70 points on the board, and then the second half they probably got on top of us a bit, but it's always good to get the 4 points. One thing I've learned in the AFL, you can't take any team for granted, and they obviously haven't had a win yet this season, but they're still a really good side, and they showed that in the second half. So, it was still good to get the win. Obviously, we go into Hawthorn next week, so our attention turns to them pretty quickly off a 6-day break. So, just keen to get over to Adelaide, love it over there, got a bit of family, so I'm keen to see them and play against a really good team on a big game on Saturday night, yeah.
Talk to us about the break too, because I know obviously the teams coming off the break this year had a couple of different situations that played out in the match. Was there anything that you focused on coming into tonight?
I've been asked a fair bit, and the funny thing is with the break, you just train harder. So we had a big session last Friday. It was about 12 Ks. I felt like I played a game. Like, it was really hard. Like, DZ, Dan Zakanic, our high-performance guy, trains us really hard. So even though we didn't play a game, we still had very high training loads because we probably didn't need it yet. So, I think it was actually, I really liked it. It's come at a good time because I feel like to most fans, they don't realise how full-on the pre-season is. We're kind of playing full match sims from December all the way through. So you're pretty sore and tired, but it's more good to get away and have a mental break from footy. Yeah, I think we had a really good balance of training hard, but then also having a few days off to mentally refresh and get away from football. Yeah.
What do you do to get away from footy?
I'm lucky. I've got a beautiful partner, Molly, so she gets my mind off footy a lot. Got a little puppy we take down the park. I'm pretty low key. It's funny. I don't do a lot, but try and look after my body, catch up with mates. I'm pretty to myself, so I just hang out with her, and mum and dad are over from Tassie, so I always love seeing them. Pretty low key. Just like to keep myself. Yeah.
Are they joining you for gather round as well?
Yeah, very, yeah. They'll come over, I reckon, because my brother's over there. So, yeah, I love it. There's plenty of my mates are over there playing sample, so I love catching up with them, get them all free tickets, so they love it.
Callum Sinclair and Nathan Burke are upstairs. Gentlemen.
Couple of questions from me, mate. Congratulations on a win, and mate, well done on your form as well. You've been had a ripper start to the season, but 6-day break. You're going over to Adelaide to tackle the Hawks. You're looking at Tim English with a sore knee. Jonesy's obviously got some hamstring concerns. Rory Lobb. Do you anticipate those three sort of getting up? And I guess, are you confident in the depth that you've got kind of coming through if you can't get those boys out in the park this week?
Yeah, obviously, as you said, 6-day break with travels obviously can be tricky if the boys are a bit sore, but I'm sure we'll give them every chance. I'm not too sure how serious they all are, but we've got great depth at the club, and we've shown that tonight. Like, especially Artie, he come in after not playing last week and was one of our best players tonight. We've got a lot of young players that probably haven't quite played AFL, played their best AFL footy yet, that can definitely come in and play a role. So I'm not sure how long Eddie will be out for, or Libba, if they'll come back next week. So obviously got a fair few handy players out, and obviously Ads is on the way back too. So yeah, we've definitely got some good depth, which is awesome.
We like to have a bit of a laugh up here, mate. You know, we're not as serious as what everyone thinks we are here at the ABC. But one thing that me and Berkey were sort of chatting about is warm-ups pre-game. It just feels like every year there's and one more addition to the actual pre-game warm-up. I think now you guys are up to 4 or 5. What's the perfect number, do you think, mate? Like, I'm personally a 1 kind of guy, but do you think 4 is just far too much?
In terms of like how many more warm-ups we do before the game?
Correct.
Yeah, it's interesting because I feel like everyone's different. Like, I heard like old Nick Rewald, he used to do like Ks and Ks before the game to get his first wind, and I've definitely probably had a more relaxed approach, especially this year and last year, to the game. Like, I felt in my first year especially, I'd wear myself out before the game. So I reckon, I reckon 2. Like, I like to just go out with the team and do your stretches and whatever, and then that last warm-up before you actually play is when you're getting that match intensity, because, as you know, it's all a balance of, you need to be ready to go, but you don't want to wear yourself out before you start.
Riley, Nathan Burke here, mate. Good job tonight, 34 touches from you, but we were surmising about Bevo's demeanour as the game went on. Was there a noticeable change from each break, quarter time, half time, three-quarter time?
Not really, no. I think, obviously we're up by, the scoreboard looked really good at half time, but we just didn't feel like we were playing the best of our abilities. And I just felt second half was just a bit sloppy. Like, we just kind of let Essendon play the way they wanted, and obviously our game style, everyone knows that high octane, fast, win at the contest and then go. But I think in that second quarter we had 3 tackles as a team, so we just let them have the ball. And that's the one thing I love about Bevo. Like, just because we're up or we're winning, he's not satisfied, because he knows the potential we have, and obviously if we're going to go far this season, we need to continue to strive, even when we're in front in round 4. Like, obviously we've got some really, really good teams coming in the next 4 weeks, so we need to probably start to tidy a few things up if we want to compete against those guys.
Riley Sanders with us on ABC Sport after a career-high 34 disposals tonight. We were chatting about warm-ups, but what about the warm-up for Lockie McNeil? He comes in off the back of playing VFL, and he gets thrown in when Ed Richards is laid out. How did he go with adapting to that and being told he was going to go out there and play another game?
Yeah, it's honestly crazy. Like, you already played. I remember in my first year, I didn't play, but I was like a first emergency, got to the ground and then had to play. I was sub, and then I ended up playing a full game because Anthony Scott unfortunately got concussed in like the first 10 minutes, and I was a bit rattled, but he literally played 2 or 3 quarters, and then there was a bit of a whisper going around that Eddie Richards had a sore hammy calf, so and everyone was like, oh crap, and then he ended up having to play, and it's crazy, like he's probably one of the best teammates you'll meet, so he's just happy to do whatever for the team, so they couldn't have picked a better bloke to do it, but it is tough because you kind of play, warm up, warm down, so did a great job to play really well and just play his role for the team, so very happy for him.
Hey Riley, a couple of weeks ago, a little contract extension for you. Are you pretty happy to get that done and dusted?
Yeah, definitely. I kind of hate kind of the talk about whether I was going to stay or leave, so I just wanted to get it done early because I love all the boys, love the coaches, and I can definitely see a really bright future for the team as the Bulldogs, and I've kind of learnt not to take for granted playing in great sides like this, that are going well, and obviously want to play finals and win premierships. That's number one, so I'm super stoked to be staying here. Got a great crew of obviously Bond, Liber, lots of kind of older boys, but I love the younger boys that are kind of in the development academy, which Lukey Power runs, first to third years. Love all those boys and just great people. Everyone here is so humble. It's such a working class club, kind of similar to people I grew up with back in Launceston. So just love them all.
And one more before we let you go, Riley. You mentioned earlier your partner Molly, and that you try and get away from football. Is that hard when she's a footballer herself? Of course, she's a very handy player for the Melbourne Football Club. So, are you talking shop at home, or do you try and sort of keep each other away from that?
No way, yeah. She's the star of the relationship. She was pick 3 a couple of years ago, so she's doing super. Actually, it was great because in the off-season, as you guys know, we get plenty of time, which is talked about. So I'm kind of travelling around the country, watching her, driving down to Casey Fields, and I was pleasantly surprised how good the AFLW is, especially the Melbourne team. They've got some absolute stars. Kate Hoare, she's a star, and I love watching it. It's actually really good. It probably, even though it's footy, it actually gets me away from my footy because I've got someone to support. And it's kind of opposite season. So as soon as my footy finishes, I can just go and support her and be a good boyfriend for her, and cook dinner and make sure looking after her. So it's good.
Preempting things ever so slightly, when the kids come along, have you chatted about, are they going to be father-sons of the Bulldogs, or father-daughters Melbourne, father-daughters Bulldogs?
Well, Berkey, I've actually got another question in addition to that to ask. Have either of you guys fantasised about being the power couple of the new Tasmanian team, being the double whammy, the double signing when it eventually comes into the equation?
I'm not too sure with the kids ones. Obviously, we're a long way away from that. But if we are lucky enough to, it's up to them. They can choose, I reckon. But hopefully the doggies, I reckon, get them over in the western suburbs, play with Libba's son. So,
nice avoiding of my question, mate.
Yeah, nice.
And I reckon we're both happy with where we're at the moment. Pretty keen to stay playing with Sammy Darcy for the rest of my career, and Joel and those boys. And she loves Melbourne too. So it's great.
Nicely handed, Riley. Good to see you doing your thing, mate. Career high 34 disposals for you tonight. Thanks for sharing a bit of time with us here on ABC Sport.
Beautiful, boys. Have a good night.
Riley Sanders there in the Bulldogs rooms. He had 34. Matt Kennedy with 36. I think Matt Kennedy had 17 in the last quarter to get a new career high. He did indeed. So he's had 17 of his 36 in the final 28 minutes. And he's got to a career high 36 disposals this evening as the ex-Blue. The Bulldogs win 14-15, 99 to 9-11, 65. Riley's partner Molly O'Hare, who was a former first-round pick of the Melbourne Footy Club. Very handy utility, Berkey.
South Freo.
Yep, very talented player.
Very good. And just found her way in the league so far last year. Did some good things, just sort of trundled along. But, is tall, athletic, good skills. Will be a very, very handy player for Melbourne. And I know that that's the extent of the AFLW recruiting now. Found her playing a footy over there at South Freo and plucked her over. A little bit speculative, but very, very good player.
Yep, and Riley's going okay as well with 34 disposals. A little bit more opportunity in the middle for him tonight with no Ed Richards, and just continuing to grow into things for this Bulldogs team. So with you for about another 20 minutes or so, 0437 774 774. You've got a mate, Mark, from Geelong, Berkey. I'm with Berkey. Ban the Woo for all songs.
Yeah, good on you, Mark. Good on you, buddy.
I don't know whether that's sort of, just songs, general life type songs. I don't know everyone's sort of wooing at concerts and that kind of thing, but...
I would, if I was still captain of the Saints, I'd say if anyone wants to woo, I'm going to throw Gatorade on you, but I'm not going to open the lid.
Oh, like Alex Davies and Zeke Hewland the other week when he just piffed the water bottle the bottle straight into his face.
Yep, that's what would happen.
That's right on brand for you, Berkey, to be fair. That is right on brand. The Doggies by 34, as we've said, of course, Hawthorn Geelong tomorrow here on ABC Sports. So we will round out this Easter weekend of footy with a little bit more fun. Archie Roberts, 37 disposals tonight, so 6 score involvements. He's taken 12 marks. He's the architect of a lot of what they do. Of course, the Bulldogs have had 15 disposals. He's done most of the kicking into those kind of games. But best and fairest runner-up last year, so it was a really high value draft, good value draft pick for them. A lot's been made about Essendon and their list build, and they haven't had the picks right at the top of the draft. When you look at the Western Bulldogs list, they've got the likes of Bailey Dale, they've got Fraser, both at pick 45 in their respective drafts. They've been able to pluck players from further down the order. It feels like Essendon's got a good one here when they needed to from a selection which maybe wasn't one of their marquee picks.
Yeah, at the end of the day, once you're selected and that day's over, everyone's in the mix. And I don't care. If you've been selected onto a list, if you're the best, if you're the 45th best footballer in all of Australia, and these days they're looking at 18s, they're looking at VFL, they're looking at state leagues and all that sort of stuff, well, there's expectations on you. I don't necessarily subscribe to, hey, this was a top 15 pick. You're a top 15 pick based on other people's opinions. When you're in the team, if you're 15 or 45 or 60, I'm expecting the same thing from you because you are good enough to be a league footballer. And we've seen hundreds of players who were picked late in the draft become champions.
So then does it come back to the development of those players in terms of where those clubs that get the most out of those selections can excel?
Yeah, you can develop a pick 60 as well as you can develop a pick 15 if you do it properly.
Comes down to height as well. So I was once told that a midfielder's got 1 year to show they can play, and anyone above 6'5" has got 10 years to show they can't.
Yep. You see, those project players.
We made Berkey laugh.
That's good.
I'll give you that one.
It's only taken 3 hours and 45 minutes, but we've got there in the end. And
but Matt Rosa, it is a tough gig. Like you're putting your livelihood in the in the hands of a list that you do have to create. The only thing I worry about with Essendon is just given what's going on with Merritt and just sort of watching Parrish out there a little bit today, and this could be me trying to just mind read a little bit too much, and I guess Langford as well. You've got McGrath in that category. Is maybe at the end of the year you could probably deal with Merritt and go, you know what, like, okay, we had a crack, it hasn't worked out. But the problem with those guys that I just listed that are remaining, they're probably not going to play finals for a long time, and they're not exactly like in their mid-20s. They're all at their kind of back-end 20s, 30s. So you've got this crop of sort of leaders that are sitting there going, well, okay, if Zach's going to go, well, I guess I just have to be content with just earning really, really good money, which is definitely a factor. But I'm probably not going to get the success that I want out of my football career. It's going to be an interesting sort of back end of the year for that kind of group. You won't lose all of them, but I'm just it'll be a watch just to sort of see, how they sort of handle that. And I don't know, do you bundle them up? Talking a big game here, but it'd just be an interesting sort of thing to observe.
To me, Caldwell, Durham and Roberts have got to be your mids moving forward. Durham's a little bit lost. It's 2 weeks in a row I've seen Essendon play. He hasn't played anywhere near his potential. Caldwell does some hard things. I like the way he goes about it. Doesn't get all the easy ones. He gets some tough positions, which is good. Roberts needs to develop like a Sheasel did, sort of developing from the back line into the midfield, applying his trade there. But Essendon won't be any good until those three are controlling that midfield. But who's number 4, 5 and 6? That's my worry.
Then to recruit it. in my opinion. Like, if they want to get competitive to a level where they're not going to be in this situation, they just need to find a way to attract some talent in that kind of, 24 to 28-year-old mark that's, keen to, bolster their, like a George Hewitt type when he went to Carlton. He's a really good
Even
example.
Jack Steele, what he did for Melbourne today.
Yeah.
Would be handy.
Yep. Matt Kennedy, the Bulldogs. There's players out there that can fill a role. It's just about identifying sort of who and where and how they fit into to what you want to do. They've got a lot of players they need to make decisions on at the end of this year, though, Essendon. They've got a lot of players coming out of contract at the end of the campaign. You've got players like the likes of Perkins and these kind of guys as well who are part of that mix. So. They've got a lot to work through as this season unfolds, but at least they've seen a little bit more of something today, which is more of what they would have liked. So they lost by 62, by 63, by 17 last week to North Melbourne, and probably could have run over the top of them, and they go down by 34 today. So, and they hold the Bulldogs, importantly, to their lowest score of the season. So a team that was getting absolutely cut to ribbons defensively. Now, the Bulldogs have clearly played into that in terms of their inability to be clean. As Riley Sanders said to us, they were sloppy. But there's at least I don't know whether it's a full tick in the box for Essendon or just the sort of the first part of the downward part of the tick. You're not sort of going back up with the tick. It's just that you've started the tick and then you go, oh, maybe not. But there's something in the box for them.
Yeah, well, I think probably everyone came here today thinking there was just going to be this absolute catastrophe and huge blowout, which, to be honest, I think we were all probably thinking that at the start. So,
the Bulldogs have got 7 goals to 1 at quarter time.
Exactly right. So the Bulldogs started with the house on fire. But either way, look, it's something. It's a lot better to talk about than probably what they went through last week. I don't think anyone's going to be off Brad Scott's back anytime soon. I think he'll be sitting on a week-to-week basis, unfortunately. But like we said, though, he can only do what he can do. I'm sure he's absolutely trying his absolute guts out, but he needs his team to sort of there's just a lot they have to sort of work on. And I think if it's more of an attitude, identity and a brand they need to set for themselves, don't worry about the results, but just worry about ticking off key moments. That's first quarters.
So the Bombers will try and get into their rooms in a moment. Maisie's going to at least go and just give us a little bit of a scene setter if we can't grab someone with a little bit of reaction in the Essendon rooms as well. Of course, tomorrow, Hawthorn and Geelong at the MCG. We brought you the team's news for that one earlier. So no Carl Amon for Hawthorn, so he was going to play his 200th game at Gather Round if he got through tomorrow. He is out with knee soreness. Didn't train when I was out there on Tuesday, and they said, no, he's just managing a little bit of soreness. So he was probably pretty line ball to get up for that game tomorrow. So Jack Dalton plays his first game for Hawthorn. Flynn Perez as well for the Hawks comes in, the former Kangaroo. Cam McKenzie aim on the 2 outs. Jack Bowes, Brad Close tomorrow into that Geelong team. Jai Clark omitted and Mark O'Connor has been managed for that game tomorrow.
Carl Amon's, that's a loss.
Yep.
He's an underrated player. Very, very important for that side. He's a ripping player, and he the way he runs off, he defends as well. He does both sides of the game really well. So that's a loss.
Mature player too, particularly for that group. They've probably got a lot of young guns in that team with the likes of Watson, Ginnivan. A lot of other talent that floats around, but I think someone having him of that sort of maturity in the group is definitely something that they'll miss. So hopefully he's not out for too long, but I think Geelong will be happy about that one.
Corby and Clinchy to call the action for you tomorrow. Brett Delidio, Mark Murphy, Ben Cameron and our man Stu Baker will be pushing all the right buttons at the G tomorrow afternoon. Our coverage starts at 2:30 Australian Eastern Standard Time. Of course, the first day of daylight savings today, which was mildly depressing as the sun set at about 6:30. But so we're in line with the rest of the eastern states with our friends up in Queensland.
It's not good for us local football coaches who now are training in the dark.
Got to get the old gas lamps on for local footy training on a Tuesday and a Thursday.
Park around the outside of the ground and turn the lights on.
What's the percentage of player drop once daylight saving ends?
You probably lose about 10% at this time of the year, but as it gets colder, it's probably 10% per month.
I'm backing local football to have a really, really strong year on all grades, because the European thing I don't think will happen this year with prices, with fuel prices and the way inflation's going and the cost of living. So you might actually find you'll have a fair bit of retention in the middle part of the year.
Still waiting for you to turn up, big fella.
I can't change direction, mate. I wouldn't get a kick. So.
Player availability will go through the roof. Let's go into the Essendon rooms. Andrew Mays.
Hello, Joel. It's a better mood than probably what we thought it might be in here 45 minutes into the match this evening. So there's only a couple of players who've emerged into the main area here where you would see on TV where a lot of the players and warm-ups take place, and a couple of family members are here. But all in all, it's fairly upbeat. So you have to say that is a positive for the Essendon Football Club, especially in that second half as well. A couple of the assistant coaches just doing a couple of chats with players individually, and then I assume they'll all be moving inside to complete their the warm downs, and then recovery tomorrow morning on what will be a pretty fresh Monday morning in Melbourne. But as I said, the mood here is generally upbeat compared to what it could have been a little earlier, and I think it's pretty much a clean bill of health too, which is always good when you've got a young developing side and you want to get as many games into the kids as possible through this season.
Last thing Essendon needed was more injuries, Maisie, so thank you for that. The Bombers go down by 34 points after a 17-point loss last week, a 63-point loss to Port Adelaide, a 62-point loss to Hawthorn to start the season. 9-11, 65, 14, 15, 99. 3 goals to Jones, to Norton and to Darcy. Injury worries to English, to Jones and to Rory Lobb out of it on the Bombers side of things. So, as we said, they take on Hawthorn next Saturday night. Essendon and Melbourne to meet at Gather Round throughout the course of next week. Votes in the ABC Footballer of the Year. Who's got the honours?
I'd love to take them.
Or would you like a little bit of time? Would you like a bit of
time? I'm just still working through that as we speak, mate. So let me just kind of tidy up my thoughts, and we'll get to that in any moment. Bear with me, listeners. I've just absolutely lost my...
I was going to.
Is there a bit of music we can have here?
Yeah, I know. We need a bit of do 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 do. What's that? Is that the Jeopardy music?
Jeopardy.
All right. Thank you very much. I'm going 1 vote to Sanders. I thought he was absolutely terrific today. Really shown a lot of growth in his game. I thought he was absolutely terrific. Really finding a lot more of the footy this year, and the 2-year contract extension. He has not taken his foot off the pedal at all. 2, I'm going to go to 2 votes. I'm going to go to Marcus Bontempelli. I thought his first half was absolutely outstanding. Definitely would have got the 3 if he actually hit the scoreboard a bit more. I think he probably could have had 4 or 5 opportunities in addition to the goal that he had. He ended up with 35 disposals and 1 goal. And me best on ground, I'm going to give it to Matthew Kennedy with 36 disposals. 17 of those I see are contested, and he had 11 clearances. He's been outstanding. We spoke about him on the call a number of times. That just staggering that the Carlton Footy Club let him go, but it's just amazing what I guess a fresh voice, a fresh start, and I guess a fresh bout of confidence gives Matt Kennedy, and I think he's probably arguably the recruit of the year last year, and he's continuing that form. So just in summary, Sanders 1, Bontempelli 2, and Matthew Kennedy 3 votes.
Career high for Matt Kennedy with 36 disposals. Had the goal in there as well, 8 score involvements and the 11 clearances, as you mentioned, Cal. So a very impressive night for the former Giant, former Blue. And the Bulldogs get it done by 34 points, 14-15, 99 to 9-11, 65. Of course, as we said, tomorrow, 2:30 Australian Eastern Standard Time, the Hawks and the Geelong Cats will meet at the MCG. And just to round out the news, there was some MRO news that came through a little bit earlier today as well. That Angus Sheldrick was the big story there, so the only one of the players suspended. So Samson Ryan at the MCG yesterday did cop a week, so Richmond are going to have to go back to the well in terms of their ruck stocks for next week. So no Toby Nankervis, they have no Samson Ryan. Ollie Hayes-Brown played in the VFL today for the Tigers. Angus Sheldrick also suspended for a week for striking Ruben Ginbey. So an out there for the Swans out of yesterday. But Samson Ryan will be the interesting story to see how Richmond retool to head over to Gather Round next week. You'll be heading over there, Loz. Looking forward to it.
I am very excited.
The expedition to South Australia.
It's the annual expedition where you've got to mention Hindley Street and the Bull, or else you don't get a ticket over there. But I'm excited. I've got the Hawthorn Western Bulldogs game on Saturday night. So given where those two sides are sitting and based on what we see tomorrow night, I've got an absolute cracker at Adelaide Oval on Saturday night and then out to the Barossa on Sunday. So the first time I'll be heading out there.
Beautiful.
Calls it expedition, I call it junket.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to be a little bit more kind, but yeah, pretty much it's a junket. There's some good wineries up at the Barossa, so that'll be good fun. Look forward to hearing all of that here on ABC Sport. Berkey, Cal, great work.
Got a weekend off.
Leave with a smile on your face tonight, Berkey.
Bulls versus the Tigers next Saturday. Local footy. Get down NPNFL Division 2.
Love it. Love it. Go the Mighty Bulls.
Go the Bulls.
Good luck for a good season. Thanks to Cal. Thanks to Maisie. Thanks to Stu pushing the buttons here, to Jonesy back in the studio as well. A big Easter Sunday of footy. The D's with a surprise win over the Gold Coast earlier today. And would have been under the roof. It was under the stars at Docklands. The Bulldogs got it done by 34 points. 14-15, 99, 9-11, 65. They burst out of the blocks. Essendon chased them down. Here's how it all unfolded on ABC Sport to close out your Easter Sunday of footy. Continues his run, drives it into the pocket. Jones up again. He's leaping tonight, Artie. He looks energised. 2 already. Jones kicks the goal and fires up the crowd as well. 10 for the Bulldogs, 3 for Jones. 53 points the margin.
Edwards will back himself from here on his return from an ACL injury. 52 metres out. He kicks all the way to the goal. And he puts this one through in his comeback. A good news story for the Bombers.
Handball back to Price. Standing start alongside the centre circles. Kicks to full forward. English coming across the pack. He's a little bit sore after he's pulled up there. Tim English as well. Jade Gresham picks it up. He rides the tackle. Snaps and kicks a great goal.
Edwards comes in the black boots. This one from 48 metres out. And the same result. A couple for Edwards. And the Bombers have 3 in this third term.
On the bounce, it's collected by Johnson. Off to Caldwell. Smashes it inside the 50, and Peter Wright got out the back. All alone, the big fella, 30 out, directly in front. 3 already for the quarter here for the Bombers. For a 4th, Wright makes no mistake. Peter Wright with his first of the evening. Closes the gap to 33. Norton comes around the body and likes it off the boot. He gets the first goal for the Bulldogs since the 17-minute mark of the second term. And he pushes the margin to 40 points. At the first 7 games of last season, Josh Dolan has earned his opportunity early in the new. And he just sneaks that one in for his first goal of the campaign.
So Gacko sends it inside 50. Edwards will kick this one towards goal. It won't get all the way. Gresham's on the end of it. Slams it through from point-blank range. And Gresham pops through his second for tonight.
Spilt to Bontempelli. Handball away to Dolan. Dolan kicks the Dogs inside the forward 50. It sat beautifully for McNeil. Oh, great craft from Croft. He flicked it over the top to Norton, who runs in and kicks his third. Already got 1 tonight. 1 goal, 1 for Archer Mate, who stutters in, sinks his right shoe through it, and the set shot is pure.
Right, Caldwell pop this one. It's a good-looking kick towards goal. He puts it there. He sends it home. And that's another goal for the Bombers, as we show plenty of fight in this contest. Something we haven't seen all year from them.
Has not been the cleanest night for the Western Bulldogs, but they will take care of business, improve to 4-0 on this young season, and consign Essendon to the ignominy of an equal club record 17th consecutive loss. The Dogs did what they had to do, get it done by 34.